So you just bought your dream home, and now it's time to move. Let's face it, nobody likes to move. All the packing, unpacking, lifting, upstairs, downstairs, and broking everything, including your back. Let the professionals at EJA Moving Company take all the stress and pain out of your move. Competitively priced moving, relocation services, office moves, and complete packing and unpacking services. They work with everybody to make it simple and easy for you to move and relocate. Call EJA Moving Company at 315-335-0516. When it's time to relocate, have EJA Moving do all the work for you. Hit them up online, ejamoving.com.
Hey, Disruption Network. This is Mike Sacco, the general manager at Nye Volkswagen of Rome. If you don't know me by name, it's only because you have not received the best deal. There's only one reason to leave Utica, and that's to come see me in Rome and get the best deal on your next new, pre-owned, or certified VW. Mention that you heard this ad from Disruption Network and receive $250 off your next vehicle purchase. You'll know why our customers say, I love my Nye VW. Come see us at 5865 Rome Taberg Road in Rome, or visit us online at nyvwofrome.com.
Want to know what's going on at the D? Hit up DisruptionNetwork.net and check out our events calendar, brought to you by the Events Co. Find out about upcoming guests, special events, concerts, show schedules, community activities, and more. Get connected at DisruptionNetwork.net.
All right, listen up, everybody. This is former governor of California, Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're listening to the D-Line, only on Disruption Networks. That's the D. Do it now. Rah, rah.
The D-Line. Disruption Network's weekly football podcast. With your host, Chicken.
I will say, one of the greatest games I've seen this year.
Caleb.
There was no takeaways from that game. I mean, the takeaways were that we should have changed the channel earlier in the night.
And still.
Just fucking tit for tat, going back and forth, just a battle.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the D-Line. We are a little bit more sober than last week.
Hey, Chicken.
What's up, guys? Joining me as usual is Sil and Caleb.
Dude, last Friday was awesome. My favorite show ever.
From what I remember of it.
Yeah, right.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, last week's episode was fun. It was interesting.
I can't wait to do it next year. Oh, my goodness. That's it. Blackout Friday every year.
Blackout Friday. And let me tell you.
Even if we don't do this show, we're going to do Blackout Friday.
Just talk.
We after we got off the show, we were like, you know what? We're already half in, so like let's just go out and have a few more beers. And we end up where Nail Creek and I think the Irish Center, 5 Points Public House, and
The
Varick, from what I remember.
Right.
And oh man, I was by like 7 o'clock. I'm like, I gotta go home.
Yeah, it was. I went home at 6 o'clock and I slept till 4 a.m. Zach basically left here, went home, passed out on the floor. We kept texting him.
Yeah, we stood out front of his house.
I know, right?
We went to go pick him up. We stood up, not us here driving. We had somebody driving for us.
Yeah.
Because we like to be safe and smart and not end up in jail.
Right.
But yeah, we sat out there waiting for him. Never shows. We're like, where the hell did this dude go?
And I talked to him on Monday because I work with Zach. So he feels terrible.
And he's the youngin'.
I know, right?
He's a youngin'.
Well, that was when I went to work at like 4 o'clock. I probably shouldn't say that, but when I went somewhere else at 4 o'clock and I got out later on that night, I was thinking of you guys, and I'm like, man, I really was thinking about texting you guys like 9 o'clock and like 10 o'clock and seeing, maybe they're still out, stop down. But
I was in the fetal position. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And Greg was Big Spoon.
Actually, he left before me.
He petered out a little early.
He took the Uber home, and then as soon as I verified he got home, I'm like, all right, well, I think I'm gonna Uber out too. So that was it. He was drinking water at the bar. He was
pretty drunk by the time he got here. I think the last time.
Well, me and him did hang out at my house the night before, so sleep was at a minimum.
Yeah.
Oh, we were. That's right. We went out the night before on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And we were at a bar.
You stayed up late.
I don't really want to say which bar, but somebody went and had sex in the bathroom. And you don't remember this, though?
Oh, the couple. That's right. Okay. Yeah.
They went and got busy down in the bathroom at the bar, and they kept walking out, and they had that like just after had sex look at them. And Silver looks at him.
I forgot all about that.
Silver looks at the dude deadpan and he goes, "So, Do you have fun putting things into stuff?
I forgot.
The dude got so freaked out, he bounced, he ran.
That's right,
Forgot him and his girl ran. They forgot their credit card at the bar. Oh yeah, that was great. The look on his face was just epic. I'm like, yes. You want us to hold the show while you take a call? I mean, is it Sill's mom?
Oh shit! You beat me to it.
It was an important call.
Tell Johnny to tie his shoes before he goes outside.
Sorry, guys. Well,
That's
you know,
all right.
shall we actually talk about the thing we like to talk about or no? Football?
Football's, you know.
I guess we can
it's on
talk
the
a little
table.
football.
Maybe next week.
Dude, are you sure you want to talk football? I mean,
It was a tough week last week. But
And-
what are you going to do?
Oh, it was brutal, dude.
can I just say, are the Miami Dolphins on a 4-game win streak?
It could be.
3 or 4 or something like that. Or at least they won 3 out of the last 4.
Yeah, I think they lost one in there in between. I really wish she would have hit me with that before. I could have looked it up.
Should have prepared for that.
Here's the fact. With the Jets losing to the Cincinnati Bengals,
Oh, my
I found out
God.
they become the first team ever to lose to non-winning. I think the teams that lost 7 games or something like the non-winning teams,
Right.
that never won this season. Like they lost to both of them this year.
Oh, are
Yeah.
you shitting me?
Yeah.
Yeah, Miami and
In Cincinnati.
Oh man, that's so bad.
3 straight weeks of scoring 34 points.
And I think Trubisky being ranked 34th in a league of 32 teams as a quarterback is bad. That's pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know what? You bring up Trubisky, but I'm just gonna say he hasn't played that bad lately. 3 touchdowns, 300 something yards.
They're playing a little safer.
The run game started getting going a little bit better.
Yeah,
We've seen that on Thanksgiving. I mean, we talked about that game. Which we've seen the Cowboys lose and the Bears win. And that's
Yeah, always a good thing.
this Thursday. But
It's tonight. Yay.
I just wish people lay off Trubisky a little bit. Let the kid develop.
Well, I just, speaking of them getting the run game, the Rams, Todd Gurley, McVay's owning up to it. He's saying, he doesn't know what he was thinking basically by holding Gurley back. But all of a sudden they're coming alive because he fucking realizes the workhorse he's got in his backfield.
Is he saying that? Is he saying that to take the blame for that, or is he saying that because he doesn't want to talk about the arthritic knees that Todd Gurley has?
I think he's manning up and taking the blame.
You think so? Because I think this could be a little bit of a hey, we don't want to really let people know how bad Todd Gurley's knees are, but Todd Gurley is playing more now, which this makes sense. So I'm not against with what McVay says.
If you hold him off in the beginning of the season and then bring him out later on, but now you've got to win.
But here's
all
the
out,
thing.
and people got to lose for you to get in.
Right,
now.
and that's why I think it's a boo-boo right there. Is
Right.
because you didn't own this division.
No.
You're third in this division.
Yep.
And
yeah, if you were running away, if you were a team like say he was, if he's playing for the Seahawks, right? They got off to a hot start, and now you're starting to get him back and bring him back into motion. Like, okay, that's fine with me. That's no problem. But like you said, you waited too long.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he did.
And in that division, it's insane, especially with 49ers playing as well as they are, and the Seahawks. And you want to talk about a running game that's coming alive. That Seahawks run game is definitely coming alive.
Yeah.
And they're going to
Oh,
be even
Carson,
scarier.
dude.
Let me I just want to go back to touch on the Todd Gurley thing one last time too. Is here's the thing that I question about that Todd Gurley thing. This is why I asked the question I just did. Is it's Todd fucking Gurley. You know what he is.
Right,
You know what Todd Gurley is. I'm sick of these head coaches in the NFL saying, "Oh man, I'm sorry, it's been 12 weeks and I really haven't used this guy right yet." It's like, bro, you're supposed to be one of the best 32 coaches in the fucking league.
He's supposed to be the distraction for the rest of your fucking
Yeah,
Can I bring up another
exactly.
guy? Jordan Howard.
Yeah, I mean,
Same thing. But and I hate this dude and I hate him, but the one thing you can say about Ezekiel Elliott, he's always available. He's not hurt. He's always ready to play. I hate the dude. I hate everything he stands for.
he's
Chicken,
hungry, literally.
it seems like all of these guys. It seems like all of these guys are too. Like your Todd Gurley types of the world. It seems like they are, but it's just like, oh, we're not using him right.
No,
well, what more did you need to figure out in 12 weeks?
He's been banged up a lot.
I know he's been banged up, and that's my point. That's why I think it's the fucking knees. It's his arthritis. He can't.
These are
produce.
guys 25 times a game minimum. And that's how it goes. They set up the rest of your offense.
Absolutely.
They freeze linebackers. They make cornerbacks think twice about fucking staying with the wide receiver. They give you that half second of fucking passing lanes.
And that's exactly it too. I hate to be like the back in the day, but
Actually,
even just
I
up,
was going to say that, but I didn't want to.
Even up to just about 5 years ago, even up to in the last 3 or 4 years, you always saw backs taking the ball. Chris Johnson always took the ball 30 times when he was in Tennessee. Marshawn Lynch always took the ball 30 times.
Yeah.
I understand that they want to go toward this more analytical approach of a 2 running back system, keep you on your toes a little bit more. Maybe it makes sense.
But you could still run it 30 times. It doesn't have to be
exactly.
You could still run it 30 times. But you look at the teams that do that actually run the ball, like Ezekiel Elliott. Like when they run Ezekiel Elliott like 30 times, they usually tend to win.
Right, and they're chewing up clock. They're keeping the other offense off the field. You're keeping your defense healthier. It's so beneficial to run the fucking ball. The fact that Matt Nagy hasn't figured that out yet blows my mind.
Yep. Well, it seems like they're starting to go that route, but I also feel in that situation, I blame the O-line. Because they're not opening up any running lanes.
They're bad.
Bring up Ezekiel Elliott, and we're going to touch on this game, the Bears and the Cowboys. The Cowboys, when Ezekiel Elliott runs, remember like Emmitt Smith back in the day? Like he had lanes you could drive a truck through sideways. You know what I mean? Like the dude just had to run straight. You don't see that in Chicago, and that's good. I'm not really knocking Ezekiel Elliott. I'm just saying like they got a great line that opens up run lanes. You don't see that in Chicago. No. But where I do see,
you also didn't see 400-yard passing games out of Trubisky either, which you do.
He was pretty close. He was pretty close. 300 something. 350.
Right.
Like over. But they got no tight ends.
You got a tight end.
But I look at it like the Seattle team, that 49ers Ravens game was amazing.
It was great.
I watched that whole game. I rewatched it on the playbacks. I watched it 3 times. That and the Vikings Seahawks game.
Another great game.
Both games were as advertised.
Yeah.
They were great games. They weren't marred by bad ref calls. They weren't. They were good games, hard-fought games.
And a step down just below them was the Houston Patriots game. But
yeah, that was a good game.
But as you said, the wide receivers for Houston, they were there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I do recall you guys saying that,
hang on. We didn't argue that they were great receivers. We just said it's going to be tough against that defense.
Correct.
And
you said that they were going to shut them down.
I didn't think shut him. I didn't say shut him
Shut
down.
them down. It's tough. There's 3 fucking great wide receivers.
Yeah.
It's like you contain 1, you contain 2, at best 2. You ain't containing all fucking 3.
And that game shouldn't even been as close as it was.
They actually contained Fuller too. Weirdly enough.
But it was DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, Hopkins was going to lose. Who was he going up against?
Gilmore.
And that was, I know Zach was like, oh, Gilmore's going to eat him alive. He's the best in the league. I'm like, you cannot cover DeAndre Hopkins one-on-one. You just cannot do it. That guy is too friggin' good. Just like you can't do it Antonio Brown and a few others. It's just nearly impossible. And they showed it. And when they got that 3-headed monster going, wow.
Yeah.
Those guys. And then, that pitch play from Hopkins to Watson, where he dove in for a touchdown, great play. Potentially really dangerous.
a running quarterback always keeps the linemen home. They don't get too wild, so their rush is slowed down. So that kind of offense is scary. When Houston is clicking, they can be just as good as Baltimore.
But they shoot themselves in their foot in the foot too much.
But
they do.
But missing Watt really hurts on the defensive side.
It does. It does.
I said.
and let's get a little love to their running game. I mean, Carlos Hyde and
Carlos Hyde
Duke.
was four
Duke Johnson.
It was really surprising to see them run like that on that defense. But
And Duke Johnson, coming out of the backfield, being able to catch the ball the way he does.
when the defense has got to respect 3 wide receivers, the running game tends to open up. So
Tom Bell checking in saying the Seattle Vikings game was one of the best of the year so far. It was a good game, but first best game of the year was that 49ers Seahawks game. That right there,
was really good.
That was a great game. Went down to 1 minute left in the overtime. That Seattle Vikings game, great game. Again, that 49ers Ravens game was an amazing game. There's just been some really good games this past.
Yeah, it was a pretty good weekend for football.
And I was really, I was definitely under the influence looking back at my picks. I'm correcting my sheet today, and I'm like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah,
oh, man, what was I thinking?
We'll drum roll that later. Don't worry. We'll drum roll that later. Ryan Tannehill's 5-1 as a starting quarterback for the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, man.
Hey,
So-
like I said before, I think he just needed a change of scenery,
yeah.
a little bit better coaching.
Adam Vinatieri he should retire. He missed.
Feel bad.
He missed a kick and had 2 fucking blocked.
Yeah,
He is bad.
and they're looking. And,
The
and I-
last one, the guy totally fucking. It's on the O line. Last one's on the O line, but he's bad.
he's just not moving at the speed he used to. Somebody was talking about this the other day online that he's not getting to the ball in the time that it's needed to. I guess, which is kind of interesting if you think about that and how.
So he's got to cut his step down.
Yeah. So how close how much goes into kicking a football? You know what I think? Because a lot of people you see it on TV, you take it for granted. It's just kicking, but that's his
process.
Yeah, it's a process, and that's his. I guess he's just not slow enough because the left leg is his left. He's having left knee problems. They did an MRI. They claimed Chase McLaughlin, the kicker who was with San Francisco when Robbie Gould was out. So I mean, I think all signs point to him McLaughlin probably kicking this weekend.
How bad would that though? Like with Robbie Gould being out from that 49ers game.
Yeah, that was the reason. Well, I mean, you're talking about back when they played Seattle, right?
Yeah. I mean, just
yeah. Well, I mean, this is what's
all right.
This is what's happened. This is what's happened with Indianapolis. They're not. I mean, 7 points makes this game a hell of a lot different.
Honestly, yeah, because they missed 2 before that return, right? So that's it's only a 1 point difference at that point, 7-6. Okay, so you're still in it. You're not forced. You're not down by fucking 14 trying to come back. It's like.
So I think
he really had a difference.
There's another good game that it wasn't a marquee game, but the Chargers and the Broncos game,
dude,
great game, and you feel bad for both teams because they both are so close to winning every single week, and then you just boom, they can't get it done. And so that was 23-20. That was the last second.
That was a really close game. That was a really good game. I can't even argue with you on that. The only highlight I got from that is, not attempting a 65-yarder at the end of the first half for Denver. I forgot the kicker's name, but
Brandon
Fangio said, he didn't feel desperate at that point. So he says, and he goes, you know what? He goes, because we didn't do that. The kicker was actually pissed. He fucking threw his helmet and whatnot. They both agree that because he didn't let him kick that field goal at the half is the reason why he made a 52 and a 53-yarder afterwards, because he had that much aggression and passion towards the end of the game.
Makes sense.
But then again, if you go after that 65-yarder and he doesn't hit it.
He wanted the record. That's what he's pissed off. He goes, I wanted my name in the history book.
Yeah, but it's not. The record's 66.
No, it's 64.
64.
I think Janikowski
Hang on. Let's go.
No, it wasn't. Janikowski's didn't hold it.
Yeah, Elam held it for a long time.
Elam and then Matt Prater held it.
And then
Matt Prater
64.
is 64. Yeah.
I could have sworn against the Bears.
I'm almost agreeing with you. You almost had me, but I'm like
Janikowski couldn't. Janikowski had a good boot, but he couldn't make them. He couldn't make them.
63 is Janikowski in 2011,
and he hit two or three in the same game. It was against the Bears. He broke a record for most 60-plus yards.
Okay, that I believe. Right.
Yeah, I mean that's
okay. So
believable.
then he tied at that time was 63 with Jason Elam.
Yeah,
I believe.
Yeah. Prater was in 2013. So.
Yeah, he got lucky too.
Janikowski could come back right now and kick left-footed and still be the best kicker in the league.
He is left-footed.
Is he?
He is left. See,
that's all right.
He totally is left-footed.
I thought he was saying that.
I love how he adds to the credibility
Hello,
of
chicken.
the show.
See, I was right though, right? Give me the bell. I was right.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
By accident.
Fuck you. Oh man. Jesus Christ.
That's hilarious.
So 2 shockers, like we said. Miami beating Philly.
Oh my god.
I did not see that coming,
dude.
That was a
Philly
pretty
came
wild
out.
play.
Yeah,
that was a pretty wild play. That fake fake
was
field
awesome.
goal.
Peels out, gets everybody to suck to him, just right to the kicker.
I've never seen that before.
Then Redskins and the Carolina Panthers, which, by the way, Rivera is gone.
He's okay. So here's what
I called this, by the way, boys.
You did.
The owner is like, he goes. I knew it was going to happen. He goes, the Redskins game had nothing to do with it. He goes, I knew it was going to happen. I wanted to move on from Ron, and I didn't want to do it behind his back.
Classy.
So I'm like, I want to start making moves to get my new coach in here. So I'm just going to let him go and be upfront with him.
And that was it's weird because nobody wants to be let go. And then Rivera actually went and walked around the interim coach. I don't know his name.
Perry Fuel.
And walked him around and showed him what he needed to do and kind of which is unheard of.
Yeah,
Coach,
but that just shows you how classy he is.
It's was kind of like a Todd Bowles divorce from the Jets last year. It was kind of like everybody loved Todd Bowles. Nobody had like a real hate or problem for Todd Bowles. It wasn't like a controversial coach on his way out of town, and it was just kind of, okay, time is coming to an end. Like we could kind of see changing of the guards once Jerry Richardson had to give up the team or was, sold the team. And Dave Tepper came in. And Dave Tepper is very a very hands-on guy. There's a great, it's called All or Nothing. It's like a 30 for 30 type thing where, that Yahoo does, or Amazon does. And they follow the team around. And you see a lot of Tepper. He's very visible in the documentary.
Okay.
But yeah, it just makes sense. I mean, maybe you wait till the end of the year. I was a little kind of at first, when I first heard it, I was like, wow, that's fucked up. Ron Rivera gave you 9 years. You axed midway. But then when you hear him talk and he says, I didn't want to put him on. I didn't believe that I should be talking to, because now even if you're about to fire a coach, like a lot of teams right now, if they kind of think might fire their coach,
right,
they might start talking to other guys,
putting feelers out there. He didn't want to do that.
Yeah, he didn't want to do that, and I give him credit for that. He said I have more respect for Ron Rivera than to just be talking to other people about his job behind his back. So this is the way we went. This is the avenue we went down. Very, very weird hierarchy.
Not going in front of the public, in front of the press, and downplaying his coach.
Yeah, exactly.
And saying,
so we went about it a different way.
Like a classy one.
Right.
But
the other way is motivational, isn't it? No.
Yeah, right. Get him going. It was very weird the way the new structure is. I don't know if you guys took note of this, but the new head coach is Perry Fuel, who's kind of a defensive-minded coach. He was with the Giants for a while. He took over. I believe he's done the interim thing for another team at one point too. But they elevated Norv Turner. I don't know how this is an elevation from offensive coordinator Norv Turner to assistant to the head coach and associate head coach, and elevated Turner's son Scott to offensive coordinator. Why then would you not just name Norv Turner the head coach of this team? Norv Turner's been there, done that. Get him through the end of the year. Perry Fuel has nothing to prove. He's not going to be the next head coach of this team.
Yeah, but
Perry Fuel is not going to coach in the NFL again.
How many times has Norv Turner gotten a chance?
It's not about a chance, but it's about a veteran presence.
Now I know why I know that name. In 2004, 2005, he was the Bears defensive backs coach. That's why I know him.
Yeah,
and it's funny you say bring it back to the Bears because that's where Ron Rivera started from, and that's kind of what he reminds me is when Lovie Smith was let go. The team loved him.
Buffalo in 2009.
The team loved him. He was a classy guy. Lovie Smith was always very classy and very in tune with his players, and Ron Rivera is the same way. And Rivera, that's when the defense was the best. Was when Rivera was there.
Yeah.
So I would like to see Rivera maybe. I think he's good enough to be another head coach in the league. I don't think he's done, but I think it's one of those things where maybe he takes a step back, becomes analyst, or like a defensive coordinator again.
Right. I could see him going into the booth. I don't see guys like this after 9 years. I don't think go. I think a booth. It's a good call, Chicken. In the going into the commentating booth and then maybe coming back at some point. But
I think he needs a.
I think he could coach. I think he will be a head coach again. He said he wants to be a head coach again. I don't think he would be one of those like. A lot of those guys look at going back to that coordinator spot as a demotion and reverting back, and it just doesn't work for a lot of them.
But then sometimes they kind of like it, like Rod Marinelli.
Yeah, but Ron Rivera is not Rob Marinelli.
Well, I'm just saying that they like that. Like all they got.
Why not? Rod Marinelli's a hell of a defensive coordinator. He wasn't that good of a head coach, was he?
Horrible.
Okay. Never mind.
Won 3 games.
Yeah. But then where?
Detroit.
Exactly. And so did a lot of these other guys. They go to Detroit and they shit the bed and they leave. Right. I can't say that's indignant.
Was he during the Matt Millen era?
Yeah.
So now you're not getting any players you need.
Yeah, Matt Millen's the worst. That guy sucks.
You get overrated players that aren't any good.
Yeah, right.
That's what you get.
So that's not really a fair judgment.
Yeah, Riverboat Ron, I think the next stop will be a head coaching job. I think it's 2 years out, though. I think definitely next year is nothing. He'll probably go into the Fox booth because he's an NFC guy, so he'll probably work for Fox. Maybe he'll be on the pregame or postgame or some sort of show. They'll find a spot for him because he does have he's very well spoken when you hear him talk. He's very intrinsic with the fans.
The guy's been to a couple of Super Bowls too.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a ring from the '85. He went with the Bears, and then he went again with Carolina. So he's been there at least 3 times.
3 times, yeah.
And he's put together some of the best defenses in the league. I mean, with Carolina and Chicago. Yeah. So I mean, this guy's definitely got a lot to offer. Him and Del Rio. I had to throw it in there. I had to do it.
The Jack Del Rio fan club lives there.
So the NFL world's about to be shooken up again as the return of Eli Manning.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yay.
The Inceptor.
Well, now, I guess Eli is no longer the highest paid backup. Now Nick Foles.
Correct. Yeah. Two big pieces of quarterback news this week. I would say. I mean, Eli Manning is forced back into playing with the high ankle sprain to Daniel Jones. So
and we kind of talked about this a few weeks ago about if Eli Manning getting to the towards the end of the season, are they gonna let him back in, or if he gets hurt? And it kind of almost seems like this is the right thing. Like Eli go out, play last few games.
The fairy tale, the script.
They're probably not going to win anything.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But at least let him go. Like let everybody remember how bad he is.
Over under on Eli picks this weekend. 1.5.
Who are they playing?
Philly. Monday night.
I'm gonna say at least 2 to 3. I'm gonna say 3.
You saying? Oh, so you're saying over?
I'll say I'll take the over of 1.5 easily. If you put it at 2, I would be tough.
That's the thing. I'm thinking I got 2 in my head.
Yeah.
So now okay, so 2.
Yeah.
Let's put the line at 2.
So the line's at 2. So okay, so I'm picking over.
Yeah, I'll still go over.
I'm even on that one.
You're gonna push.
You bet the house money, huh? Yeah, I mean,
I think it's the right thing to do. Get Eli out there, even if Jones wasn't hurt. I think at least in the last game or two, bring out
the dead.
Yeah. I mean, it'll also be interesting.
You're dead.
It'll also be interesting to see where they play over the next few weeks too, because this could result in just maybe they just say Daniel Jones, get your ankle right, Eli. Let's go on this little victory hiatus, a la Derek Jeter last ride around the the ballpark type thing. But yeah, it'll be nice to see. I mean, it'll be a heck of an upgrade for the Giants if he plays another home game for the Giants, because I don't know if you guys saw the crowd at the Packers Giants game, but they weren't there. There was probably about 1,000 people at that game. It seemed like,
and you figure like Dallas is leading that way. They're going to be 6-7, and then they're going to still be in for a playoff spot, which I think is complete horse shit.
Right.
I think it's complete horseshit when you got several teams in just the West alone that, and in the North and the West, you got 4 teams right there that should be in the playoffs.
Right.
That one of them's going to get screwed because of the this bullshit Cowboys team.
All right. So speaking of the Green Bay Giants game last week, so this was a big debate.
It's Green
on
Bay
Monday
Packers.
Tuesday. What did I say?
The Green Bay Giants.
Green Bay. My God, what dick.
He got you too.
I know he fucking did. I
just got to keep talking through him.
Right. Was the use of the graphics to accentuate the 10-yard lines and the hash marks. I honestly thought they had fucking guys shoveling after every break, shovel the fucking lines. I'm like, really? It's amazing. They gotta have like fucking 400 guys doing this. And my son goes to me, he goes, Daddy, why do the lines look so weird? I go, oh, they're shoveling them between every TV timeout. I had no idea it was fucking digital graphics accentuating the lines.
I didn't know that either.
So I didn't know. Yeah, right. That's what I feel like. Because a lot of people were saying online that looks like shit. And I'm like, dude, I thought it was awesome.
John's like, this is the coolest thing of all time.
I mean, they got the greatest ground crew ever. A fucking army.
You're like ready to donate money. Somebody needs to give these guys some money.
I felt duped when I found it was graphically enhanced.
Hello, MetLife Stadium. I'd like to give you some money. So, we don't care that you built that $5 billion mall next door to the stadium, but we'll give you some money for that grounds because they're doing a hell of a job.
Holy shit.
Thank you, Mr. Silberth. We've pulled the wool over your eyes.
I actually, after that, I'm like, why are you guys mad? It looked great. I appreciated that we could see the lines and whatnot. Now, granted, do I love seeing the snow? Yes, but It helps when you down in distance, and me being the X's and O's guys that I am, I appreciate.
Your son's gonna think that that's the way it is, like that they actually had ground screw out for like the next 10 to 12 years, and his friends are just gonna melt him when they finally tell him.
I got to go tell him the truth now. That and Santa Claus,
Son, we've got some things to talk about.
Hop on Daddy's name.
Weird. He said that to Zach too. It's kind of weird.
Did you ever see a grown man naked?
Yes. No, Robbie, we do not have an app yet. Robbie Danger checking in.
Hey, Robbie.
The danger. Also, too, we should go back to and circle back to Gardner Minshew is back under center.
There we go.
For the Jacksonville Jaguars. Huh? Kind of surprised. I mean, not surprising
Pulled
with the way
him at
Nick Foles has played, but yeah, to pull Foles at the half.
He was hanging onto the ball way too long.
And here's the thing:
all those sacks were his own fault.
I don't think Foles proved enough to start over Minshew. I mean, the team was rallying behind Minshew. I mean, yeah, he started to falter a little bit towards the end, but like the kid's a rookie.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, let that rookie develop. Mm-hmm. Let that rookie build a bond and chemistry with his players, and that's your future. I mean, right now, Nick Foles is not your future.
Not anymore.
But yeah, not anymore. I think they thought
so, even from the beginning.
I think they did though.
I always had the feeling like he was a bridge quarterback.
Do you know what they
not at $88 million?
But do you know what Jacksonville did? And you see teams do this a lot. And it's more of a move, more common than you see in the NBA. Is like you almost feel like that team was just like backed so hard by their fans and the media into a move. And that's what Nick Foles to Jacksonville, I feel like, was. Mm-hmm. It was okay.
Abandoned.
Because to be honest with you, I'm almost under the mindset of, Bortles was bad. Okay, we can't take that away. Bortles had a really bad year last year. But why not bring Bortles back and start Bortles at a discounted rate, or keep Bortles at the contract value he had? Granted, it's wild to me that he's in LA. He did get picked up and he's in LA. But why not bring him back? And you didn't know where you're going to go with Minshew. But if you can't see a probable future in the draft in last year's draft class, then bring Bortles back. They drafted Minshew. Minshew
Can I tell you why? And I'll give you 2 words. Jay Cutler. Remember when Jay Cutler and Bortles were on the same line, right? Like, they'll show you glimpses of hope enough just so you keep them around. And then Cutler, right before they let Cutler go, they're like, well, should we just bring him back at a lower pace because we don't have anybody else? But then you're stuck with that boo-boo that you can't ever get rid of.
But if you're looking for that quarterback of the future and you're looking at this, like, okay, so you didn't see something you liked in last draft class, or couldn't get to something you liked in last draft class. Let's say that. That's probably more of a realistic thing. You couldn't get to that player. But then why go out and spend $88 million with an absurd amount of it guaranteed for a quarterback that you're on? And it's going to be he's obviously a bridge. Foles was obviously a bridge to somebody.
They're going to eat so much money when they let.
They're going to have to.
Yeah.
And so why not just go back to Bortles for 1 year at $10 million? Say, kid, get us through here.
Or grab a Tannehill.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Yeah, that works with me too. A cheaper option. Makes a lot more sense. You're right.
I would have liked. My problem was with Foles, and I said this in the beginning of the year that I didn't like Foles on that team. because he had no success anywhere but Philly. And he only played half year each time. Mm-hmm. But it just he's older. He's been traveled around. He's not your quarterback for the future. You know what I mean? Like, you went out and you got Fournette, who's a younger running back. You got a lot of young guys on your team. That's why I really
right up your alley.
That's why I like the Minshew getting out there and playing, because same thing with Daniel Jones. We were saying, like, you got this young team. Let the youngster grow with that team.
Yeah.
Foles coming there and he's the old fuddy-duddy. Nobody knows him. Nobody's played with him. They got no chemistry with him. They're not going to grow with him.
Yeah.
He's only maybe there 2-3 years, if that tops.
And Minshew wasn't a quarterback that they drafted with the idea of, like, okay, here we go. Minshew was one of those quarterbacks that was drafted in the mid-later round that was like, okay, we're going to try to see what this kid's got. That's one of those, like, throw shit at a wall type of guys.
Or Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened with Dak Prescott. Like, Romo was going to be the starter. Dak was that
Dak had a little.
Yeah,
but Dak had a little bit.
Tom Brady.
Dak had a little bit more pump in college, though. Dak kind of fizzled because Dak should have been a first-round pick, but he fizzled because of legal problems.
But they never really expected much out of him. He was just the kid that was a project. And then because Romo kept getting destroyed, he ended up having to play. And,
Romo kept trying to spell his name,
right?
Couldn't. So he had to play. Yeah, exactly.
And so like Dak Prescott came out of obscurity pretty much, and that's where I feel like this Minshew kid could. But I feel like if you're Jacksonville, you got to unload Foles at some point.
You do, but it's such a it's
they screwed themselves with him.
Yeah, it's like Foles kind of goes along with that with the Cam Newton thing, because with the Ron Rivera thing this week, it's kind of brought up a lot of people talking about Cam. Okay, and so an interesting thing I heard about Cam was people were talking is, oh, do you really it makes the Bears, geez, sorry, the Panthers are definitely going to release. They have to release Cam Newton, and an analyst made the best point I've heard so far is Cam Newton has a $21 million cap hit next year, 19 if they were to release him. So it would cost him $19 million to release him. He's in the mid to low ends of salary for quarterbacks in the NFL. Isn't that fucking crazy to think about?
Yeah.
He is in the middle to lower half of salaries. So the commentator was like, well, yeah, you're going to bring a new head coach in Carolina and stuff like that. Well, why do you release him? Because he's going to still be in the lower portion of what we're paying quarterbacks a year. How crazy is that?
But
How fucking crazy is that?
The reason why you let him go is because like he's a drain on that locker room.
We've talked about that before, but at the same time, like when it comes down to a money thing, I don't think they will. I don't think they do.
I think he's gone.
And that's the same thing with Nick Foles.
Allen's played the last few weeks. He might be your best option at QB right now.
Yeah, big time.
We're not talking about right now. He's done for the year.
I mean, I know, but I'm even talking next year. I mean, you got a guy who's throwing 4 interceptions a game, or do you want a guy who's throwing 26 incomplete passes a game? That's your option.
Allen to me too. Like he was pretty good when he was first playing, and then he's like showing these signs of like insane passes and then like horrible passes. Like he made this one pass along the sideline the other day when they were running the 2-minute offense that I was like, wow, that is a big league pass. Like that is a veteran quarterback pass. It was like hit the guy right on the sideline, right in stride, both feet down, perfect 15-yard gain.
Like a Kirk Cousins pass.
And then he'll turn around, and then he turned around the 2 plays later and threw this fucking noodle halfway down the field that was intercepted. It's like, come on, man, you could do it. Like this is all yours. They're literally giving it to you. They're laying it up for you. Cam would have been back under center if you hadn't been so goddamn good before.
And the interception, his fumble and just complete fuck up at the end of the game. See, all he's got to do is know the routes. Know that the guy's gonna. He was open over there. He was wide open.
Well, that's the traditional route off that play, isn't it? That would be like the textbook route that you're looking for.
Let it go, and he held on to it for too long to make sure the guy was open.
Yeah, but he's
just fucking
young.
throw it.
He's young.
Right, he's young.
He's very young, and I think we're so judgmental. And you're trying to compare him to Cam Newton, who's been in the league 5-6 years now, and he's been to a Super Bowl. But Cam Newton somewhere along the way hit a wall. Like he just. Like we said, it's in his brain. It's not his talent. And I think him and you're going to see something happen with him and Jameis Winston. And if they don't, neither one of those teams are going to even be in the playoffs.
Yeah, well, Tampa Bay, their defense is the reason they're winning right now. So,
and
Winston's okay.
He's terrible. He's absolutely garbage.
Even when he threw 4 picks, they still won. So
that's what I'm saying.
That's why I'm like their defense is Vita Vea and the crew. They're keeping them in games.
I think those two teams, those two quarterbacks need a change of scenery. They definitely do. They need new coaches. They need new
with a would you say a $19 million cap hit?
Yeah,
they might just hang on to him.
Have to.
It's
cheap.
It really is. I mean, yeah, it is. If that's cheap, then sure. Yeah, one more and only one more year, chicken. It's one more year. That's all you got to do.
One more year losing. You ready for that as a brand new coach? If you're a new coach, do you want your quarterback coming in?
Here's the thing. It's like you're putting it on his back. Say, listen, it's your contract year. You got another one in you. If you do, then maybe they'll pay him more. I mean, it's like
I'm just saying.
And you're not only that, you're marketing yourself for other potential teams if we decide not to keep you.
See, I think you got a new coach, you get a new quarterback, and you change the face of that team. Right now, they
got a young guy, so. Let him battle it out in training camp. But either way, I'm not going to take a $19 million cap hit for something I don't have.
I'm not going to sleep on their third string quarterback either, Will Greer, who they used that 3rd round pick on to draft out of college. Will Greer was very good in college, so that's why I was almost kind of thinking maybe we might see Greer in the next few games too.
I got to tell you,
we'll see.
3rd string quarterbacks. I got to give the quarterback from Detroit Lions.
Yeah, Blow.
Oh, David Blue.
That guy played great. Some of the passes you want to talk about big league passes. He was throwing things.
We went over this on
money.
Friday, if you don't remember.
I don't remember a lot of it. But I had to give him some love because that dude really balled out for a 3rd string quarterback. He looked really confident.
As I remember saying, but they established the running game. It really helped him. It really did. So when you do that to complement your quarterback, he's going to get those throws. But not many 3rd string quarterbacks connect with him, and he did. So good for him.
Pittsburgh does get their redemption here. Did get their redemption.
Yes,
this past
they
round.
did. Yeah.
So
that game was so uneventful. It wasn't even funny.
That was a game that Devlin Hodges should have been starting at quarterback because that guy is fucking painful to watch. So I'm between him and Garrett Gilbert.
He had for every good play he had a shitty play.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't even
trading
argue.
them off.
But they got 20 points.
Yeah. Hey, they did. Hey, listen. At the end of the day, if you go to the locker room after the 4th quarter and you have a W, then it's okay.
So, we had some juggernaut games this past week, right?
Yeah. Oh, here.
In your opinion now, who do you put the top in the AFC and NFC?
So
Ravens, right? We got to go Ravens.
Yeah.
We seen New
Ravens,
England.
no doubt. They're that's not even questioned.
Ravens, Chiefs, Patriots. That would be my 3 in the AFC. And then the NFC, I would go...
Patriots are on a downturn. I'm actually going to go Ravens, Chiefs, Bills.
Ooh, John Silbreth.
Even though the Patriots beat the Bills, I am so looking forward to this next matchup.
I think I'm going Ravens. Ravens, Chiefs, Houston.
You know what? 3A, Houston.
like you said, that 3-headed monster with Houston and that backfield now. They got a good backfield.
That's actually really tough now that you throw Houston in there, too.
I completely forgot all about him. Yeah.
And that's where I think Houston's the most dangerous is because people forget all about him.
Houston, 4 losses. Buffalo, 3 losses. There, I settled it.
But Houston beat New England.
Right. No, I know.
And they dismantled New England. I'm not counting the Bills out. The Bills are there, but they're like my 4 or 5.
All right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they got to show me a little more offensively. Mm-hmm. You know, I like what they got going. I like what they're building.
Right.
I just feel like they're not quite there yet, but they are definitely turning some heads. And they're not that old Bills where we just waiting for that collapse.
Right.
And we've talked about that a bunch too. They haven't.
No. Right. And they've only gotten better.
Yeah.
That's what kills me. When they had those stagnant weeks and we're just scraping by, their offense is clicking now. They're doing better. I mean, Christ, they just scored 26 on the Cowboys. Nice.
And
in Dallas.
Nice. Yep. Yeah. And they beat them up good. I mean, that Bills team,
it wasn't even close as a score.
I like where they're heading. Like beginning of the year, like we said, like we're talking about what they do in the offseason. They didn't really do much. Who are the Bills? And now we're starting to see they're a tough defense.
Well, they're also starting to flex their games too.
Yeah.
So I mean that tells you a lot about a team. It tells you a hell of a lot about a team. So
yeah, they're going to play their first night game in how many years?
Well, they played night games, but like meaningful night game. This is one of the first Benny that I can remember. Like they played the Jets on Thursday night. They played the Monday night game where the guy died in the river behind the stadium. Yeah, when they gave the Bills their first Monday night game. This was probably like 3 or 4 years ago. They brought back Monday Night Football to Buffalo, and the guy died
there
behind the game.
I was at that game. Me and Tom went to that game. It was the first Buffalo Bills game in like 20 years that was on Monday Night Football. It was Bills and Cowboys. Right. And you know what was a shame, though, is there was just as many Cowboy fans as there was Buffalo fans in that stadium.
Right, yeah.
It was nuts. And it was a great game. We're almost through like 4 picks. But it was like back and forth. It was nuts.
We loved it. It was great. We had a great time.
Good times.
So, so they're staying at the same times this weekend, right? Nobody got flexed this weekend, right?
No, I don't believe so.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You can only flex to the 4:25 or the Sunday night game, right?
Well, they flexed them to this from 1 o'clock to Sunday night.
Right.
Yeah, because I know they won't move a team to Monday night. That would be too
I don't
unfair.
understand. They're going to flex that game, but they didn't flex that Ravens 49ers game.
Because you had Houston Patriots. You're not going to flex that.
Yeah, you can't flex around certain games. By the way, a takeaway from that game too is Jimmy Garoppolo had no feel for the ball in bad weather. By the way, I know that's kind of like an oxymoron. Like, no shit, you probably it's going to be tough to play in bad weather. But I'll tell you something. There was balls that were coming out of his hands that were just like spinning backwards, like they were weird.
If it wasn't for the bad weather, I felt that could have been such a great, such a better game.
Yeah.
But I knew it was going to be a 3-point game either way. But I just felt, I really looking at that, San Fran fell for a lot of the run fakes by Baltimore. They got a lot of bootleg runs out of them, just because they're just biting on that action.
Yeah, well, they played the last, it seemed like they played the entire fourth quarter between the 40s. Yeah, like right in the middle of the field. Like nobody could get a jump on field position.
17-17 mid second quarter and nothing until a few minutes left in the fourth.
Yeah,
and that's where I knew this 49er team could put a hold on Baltimore. I thought they could pull this game off, but it could have went either way in this game. But because of that matchup, that defensive line disrupting things in that backfield. It was a good challenge for Baltimore, and 49ers didn't lay down, and that game had the feeling of a playoff game, just like that Vikings and Seahawks game. Nobody was giving ground. They fought like it was a playoff game. You would have thought that was a playoff game. The way the crowd was involved, the way the players were involved,
the atmosphere.
Yeah, it was great.
It was a way for one team to, because they both knew who they were. They're number one team from each side. Who's the number one team overall? That's what this was for.
And you know what? The last couple times that the Seahawks were faced with that, all right, this is the team that everyone thinks is the number one team. This is the team that we got to beat. They played their ass off when they did the San Fran game, this game here. They could have easily laid down at any point in time.
Right.
And they just fought and fought and fought. And that's why I really like the Seattle team. They don't give up. And give the Vikings some credit, man. They played real tough.
I'm blown away by the Seattle team. I thought that they wouldn't be,
but Dalvin Cook got
half
hurt
this
again,
good. I didn't think Seattle would be half this good this year. At this point,
I feel like we say that every year.
A lot of the moves that they made, that I thought they had made, like in the offseason, I thought they kind of got worse. But Frank Clark deal has worked out great for him. The Jadeveon Clowney deal has worked out great for him.
Now they got Josh Gordon in there.
It's Pete Carroll, man. It's Pete Carroll. I think you got to start buying into the mojo, because
he's got his spark back. The reason everybody from the defense left said his message was getting stale. Well, guess what? It's not.
Yeah.
They were getting stale.
Yeah, exactly. You personally got tired of hearing it. Everybody else still buying in, because Russell Wilson is still there. I mean, if you saw his mic'd up, he's still pumping players up.
He sounds like such a puss when he's mic'd up.
You know who I miss from
He sounds like such a little puss.
I miss
yeah, go boys.
What's his name? The safety there, Cam
Chancellor.
Cam Chancellor. That guy was a beast. I do miss him. Like taking him out of that backfield.
Seattle's, they've lost against the Ravens and the Saints, against number one and another close to number one team in that division. But to get back to what started this is, who's the number one in the NFC right now? Dude, I'm sorry, but I fucking love
Arizona,
the 49ers right now. I really do. I mean, I know Seattle beat them.
See, and that's where I see what you're saying, and I was a non-believer for a long time with the 49ers, because we were like, oh, who they play, blah, blah, blah. And the teams that they lost to,
we're going to see this. I mean, San Fran plays the Saints next week, I believe. We're going to see this.
I just feel that the 49ers aren't quite there yet. I feel like they're right close. They're not there yet, and I feel like Seattle right now is playing like a man of. The whole team is playing like man on fire.
It's so funny. We're at week 14.
Is it too early?
It's so funny. Like I don't blame you, because I always kind of still have the same sentiment in my head. But like, is it so funny? We're at week 14 and like people are still saying like, I don't believe in the 49ers. What the fuck? When are they going to make us believe? Chicken, I'm right there with you, though. Like, I kind of believe it.
Yeah. Team. I'm becoming, like you said.
I don't know, though.
The two losses that they have made me more of a believer than their win.
But you kind of feel like they could blow up tomorrow, and they like just could lose out tomorrow. I do.
I didn't believe in them till last week. Really. Yeah, that's when I finally came around.
In a loss, right. The two losses that they have really made me a believer in them against Seattle and the Ravens, because they played them tight and they played them hard. But that's why I don't feel like the 49ers are there yet, because they gave them everything they have and still fell short. Whereas I feel like Seattle, they know how to dig in a little deeper.
Yeah.
And then there's that other team that we're not talking about, that New Orleans Saints team that has been.
I do not believe in them.
See, I still do.
You can thank the Falcons for that.
So one game.
Yes.
A divisional game.
And dude, in this past week against the Falcons have their numbers. So guess what? Teams are going to go back and look at that film and how the Falcons got 18 on them. Which earlier in the year, New Orleans probably what I would have thought was the number one defense.
But it doesn't matter. They can get all the tape they want. When you got Drew Brees back there and Kamara and some of those players, it doesn't matter. Because and Sean Payton will change the book on you.
But that O-line is now because of what the Falcons did, that O-line is now suspect to me. Now I see the 49ers just fucking destroying it.
See, I don't. I see Sean Payton and Drew Brees being a lot smarter
Better keep it running.
than that defense. I mean, this isn't the first great defense these guys face.
I know.
And I just feel like we were talking about Seattle, we're talking about the 49ers, we're talking about these teams, and then you forget that New Orleans Saints is out there rolling.
No,
they're rolling, and
there.
they're not getting talked about as much because they're the Saints. But, man, I'm telling you, the Saints is definitely a team that could sneak up on you. They could take the 49ers out. And I feel like it's going to be the Saints in Seattle.
So you think the Saints might come marching in?
I think they will. Oh, come on. I don't have a bell. Tom Bors is checking in. He says, Niners ain't got nothing on the Saints. You watch. I agree with you. I was at the Falcons-Saints game. There were more Saints fans than Falcons fans in Atlanta. Yeah, I believe it.
I wouldn't admit to being a Falcons fan.
Right. I know, right?
There's one or two out there. But so you want to talk about teams on the move?
Yeah, I would love to. Because if they're going to move, I would really wish they would call EJA Moving Company. Professional movers at 315-335-0516. Competitively priced moving, relocation services, office moves, complete packing, and unpacking services. They work with everyone and make it simple for you to move and relocate. That's EJAmoving.com. When it's time to relocate, have EJA Moving do all the work for you.
And what did you say before the show? It's hard to move with...
When you go Black Friday shopping?
You got to put everything in your car. Tom, I believe he says he says that the Saints were divisional leaders all season long, and I feel like that gets overlooked. Before the beginning of the season, we were talking a lot about the Saints, and then you haven't heard a word. It's all Ravens. It's all 49ers. You hear some Seattle, but man, nobody's talking about these New Orleans Saints. Just kind of like the Chiefs talk kind of fizzled out.
It's the Falcons did it. The Falcons. They
falcon you. That's what they do.
I mean, now you know what? That the Eagles losing to the Falcons earlier is now just gone because the Eagles lost to the fucking Dolphins. So they're bad. They are now a bad team.
Well, the Cowboys lost to the Jets.
John Silver's logic to everyone. Thank you.
The Cowboys lost to the Jets. Do they now suck?
Yeah. I mean,
who you? Later, but
and the fucking Bears lost to the Chargers by a fucking field goal. They lost to fucking. I
always get a kick out of those in college, with college football. They'll be like if early in the season a shitty beats a really good team. They'll be like, well, because Compton State beat Elkhorn State, and Elkhorn State beat Compton University, then Compton University beat Alabama. That means Acorn State is better than Alabama.
Right, yeah.
Gotta love the beats.
Okay. But yes, by a very, very tough week for my Jets. Let's put it that way. We won't go into that too much. They had no answer. They were bad. They were literally bad from the start. It was another game where they looked like Adam Gase didn't coach them at all this week.
They were okay the first two series, but then it just got way out of control. They couldn't stop Mixon in the passing game, and Dalton, hey, he's back.
Yeah, yeah, right. Kelvin, couldn't pick a fucking worse week for the Jets to play this team. They play the Dolphins. They play the Dolphins the week they go back to Fitzpatrick. They get waxed. Then they play the Bengals the week they go back to. It must be a thing,
right?
It might be Zach Taylor and Brian Flores just fucking with the Jets.
So let's talk about the Dolphins for a second, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
All right,
they
all
struggle
set.
on quite a few.
Move
Good.
on.
I know you want to get out of that one. But the Miami, we were like, they're the worst team in the league. They're the shit, And now they strung together, 4 wins, 3-4 wins, something like that.
Right. Well, when they beat Washington, I then immediately switched to Washington being the worst. Even though Cincinnati was still winless at the time, I still thought Washington was
Washington
worse.
beat Carolina.
And now Washington beats Carolina. So now Carolina's the worst team in the league. by
logic, yeah.
No, we still got Cincinnati.
By John's logic, yes.
We still got Cincinnati being the worst. But Miami might not be as bad as everyone thought. They might finally be able to get some, and everyone's like, oh, they should tank. And this is why you don't tank. You go out there and you see what you got. And I'm going to switch sports, and I'm going to bring you back to the Boston Celtics a few years ago when
basketball.
The Celtics had and the reason why I bring it back is everyone was saying the Celtics should tank. You should tank is when
it was right before the trade.
Yeah, it was when the coach first got there, and they didn't know what team they had. So they should tank. And then they didn't, and they ended up going to playoffs and doing really well in the playoffs. And I'm a firm believer in you don't tank. Go out there and see what you got. If your team sucks, at least you know who sucks. But then you're playing for your job. That one player you're going to pick up in the draft shouldn't make up your whole entire team.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, you got to see who you got in that play and who wants to stick around and play. You know what I mean? Like, who's your ballers? Who's going to go out there? Maybe you put in some, second or third string guys, some rookies they got, but put the guys in who are going to fight to the end. Because you know what? Those are the guys next year I want on my team.
Sure.
I want these guys, we're going to tank it, and then they never see what you have. So next year, when you see what you have and you start building that chemistry, and you're like, okay, so if we add these few pieces, we're not as bad as we were. Look at the Bears a few years ago. Mm-hmm. I mean, we kind of regressed a little bit back, but for a while we were terrible, and then we kept trying, we kept fighting, and then you said, oh, well, a few pieces here, Khalil Mack there, and you got a pretty decent team.
It says a lot about the culture and the future of the team too. That Brian Flores didn't have that mentality. That he kept that team online on focus.
Gotta keep fighting.
That's and again, these guys are professionals, and I think that tanking word is thrown around a lot more in pop culture and our media between people like us and stuff like that than it really is in any locker room. I mean, those guys, like you said, Chicken, those guys show up every day, and that's their job.
And that trickery and the fact that it worked gets guys on board with it.
Yeah, it does. It makes people buy in. Yeah,
Yep, absolutely. And they make it fun. I mean, we've coached some shitty teams. We've been on some shitty teams. We rooted for some shitty teams. But you still got to show up. You still got to ball because
it's your job.
Yeah. If you suck,
man up.
I mean, look at I'm a Bears fan, so I got to go back to the years of Walter Payton or Barry Sanders and these guys that came up and showed up every single week. Larry Fitzgerald. You know what I mean? These guys ball out every single week, even on shitty teams, even when there's no hope. And how many times do we see these, prima donna players go there and they want to quit because they're on a bad team? I want those guys that are still balling out on a bad team.
The difference between now and then, and this is a whole free agency.
What's up, Bo?
When a team was bad back in the 80s and early 90s, they just 1-15. You still didn't hear. Well, then again, maybe it's the day and age. There wasn't social media. We didn't hear boo out of them.
Right now,
you're also right about free agency too. So
yeah, right now you hear a guy farting and it's like, oh, it's all over Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and everything else.
Smelled like broccoli.
Well, and you're absolutely right, John. Too, free agency has changed a lot, and rookie contract has changed a lot too. And so when you come into the NFL now, your rookie contract is, and I know this is, I'm going to say only, but it's only 4 years. You're only
with the option for the fifth.
Yeah, with your option of your fifth year. So 4 years is not. It used to be it was 6 or 7. I think Jamarcus Russell signed a 7 or 8 year deal, and that was just going back to him. Mm-hmm. There was no restriction. There was no restriction on
he should
money.
have gotten arrested for theft.
Yeah, right. there's no restriction about money or how much money you could give a draft pick. Now now it's kind of laddered out how much it's pretty much slotted where you go you get that value, which I think is smart. But at the same time, you're right. It's now you start looking and now you're allowing even younger players that time to look at the free agent market. Now you're getting them excited about the free agent market at 25, 26. So that's all they're thinking about. Right. Whereas before it was thinking about it at 28, 29, 30. So they're not all in, some of these guys.
But without the slots, they were also thinking about it. If I get drafted in the first round, I'm cashing in. Now because of they can only do a certain limit.
Threshold.
You know what? Threshold. Thank you. You know what? There's less holdouts nowadays. There's the occasional holdout, and it's 99% of the time has to do with wording in the contract.
Exactly.
And we're noticing with the holdouts are getting less.
But
and
it's
less.
not money involved.
The less and less with the holdouts is also we're seeing that these guys hold out for a while, and then they when they come back in, they get hurt.
Right.
Remember, Des Bryant held out for his contract, and then boom, he was never the same since.
Right. It's the way it's because they don't do anything, and I don't know what the fuck it is nowadays, but man, it just seems like there are way more injuries nowadays than there were back then. I'm not going to sit here and say, okay, Boomer, it's because they were real men back then.
Yeah, yeah. My granddaddy, he said football back in the 70s was. No, I mean,
do they not stretch enough nowadays? I know they've taken certain stretches away that they're no longer. These are bad stretches. Well, guess what? Maybe they're not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. But are guys more physically stronger and faster nowadays? 100% yes. Is there a correlation? Most likely,
probably. Yeah. Well, that's the thing too. With free agency for an athlete is besides winning a championship is your ultimate goal is to get to free agency. You want a bidding war. You want somebody to come out and bid for you. And you don't think about the small ramifications that little things like that could have on that. If that's your ultimate goal and what you're trying to get for, if you're not taking care of your body properly, if you're not going about things the right way, you're never going to make it to free agency. And if you never make it to free agency, well, that's usually where your money comes from in sports. That's kind of, you can see the NFL moving in that direction. That's where these guys they're going to look for that big payday is in that first round of free agency.
Right. That's when they should look for it. I don't argue with it. I'm okay with what they're doing.
Yeah.
And we're seeing guys like JJ Watt, they play 100% every single play to the point where he's only played half a year the past 4 fucking years. Yeah. Right? It's because the human body can only take so much. Yeah. He plays at 100% every single goddamn play that his muscles are fucking they're fucking bursting. He's hurting himself by going all out. So but as much as I appreciate that, and I loathe the guys who first thing they do is veer out of bounds. I fucking hate that. Whereas back in the day, they'd just meet up with a guy. Yeah. Boomer.
Boomer Sison?
But you know what? Because some of those guys are veering out of bounds, they're lengthening the life of their career.
Yeah.
So I see positive and negative.
Yeah, but you remember the 2 guys that used to dip down, never get hit were Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce. Remember those guys? Yeah. They never took a hit.
Right.
Marcus Allen never really took a hit. He always turned his body enough so he never took a huge shot.
Right.
And nowadays, I think one of the things, the fads that I think needs to end is everybody wants to jump over a player. They want to be on that ESPN highlight reel. And that pisses me off.
Well, no. If a defender wants to fucking not hit and wrap, if he wants to just put his head down and think he's going to take somebody out that way, he deserves to get jumped. He 100% deserves it.
And then that guy deserves to get his bell rung when he gets up in the air because you're more mobile, you're more movable when
That's
you're up
because
in the air.
somebody else wants to do it. The guy who's getting hops doesn't want to do it.
But how many times do we see a guy jump up and get fucked up?
Yeah, well, then I'm okay
because
with
these big guys that are tight ends are trying to leap over a guy. Then he gets no. Put your fucking shoulder down and take the guy down.
The guy who wants to try and tackle with his eyes closed deserves to get leaped. And the guy who leaps him deserves to get fucked up if his safety behind him.
I'm saying when you're a 265-pound, 6'8" tight end, why are you leaping over somebody? Lower your shoulder and put down the boom and run over that dude.
I'm entertained.
I'm more entertained when he runs him over.
Right.
Run him over, and then you send a bigger message. I mean, if you're a smaller guy, a Tariq Cohen or one of these guys, or a Tariq Hill or one of those guys, and you want to leap over a guy, fine, you're a speedy wide receiver, fine. But when you're a big dude, you lower that shoulder and you take him down.
We could have had Rob Gronkowski for probably 3 more years had he leaped more people. But his knees got so.
If he
leapt
if he
more people.
if he jumped more, he probably would have been hurt 5 years earlier.
I'm just thinking. Well, his knees are just fucking.
If you
brutalized.
put your shoulder down,
his knees were brutalized, dude.
Okay,
because he didn't jump.
No, it's because he couldn't jump anymore. You look at a guy like Adrian Peterson.
Mm-hmm.
Adrian Peterson in the beginning of the game, even at the highest point of his career, what he would do, he could run around a guy, but he chose to run through the guy early in the game because you send that message just like Walter Payton.
Right? Yeah, no, I know.
You lower the shoulder and you hit him in the mouth. So the next time they come up to hit you, they stop a minute, and that's when you juke them.
Right. Well, dude, watching him this past weekend, dude, he put a nice move on a defender. He's still got it at his age, and the way Washington came out, 1 drive Peterson, 1 drive Geis, 1 drive Peterson, 1 drive Geis. It was a thing of beauty, and they just kept running and just keeping their offense out on the field, giving support to Haskins. Washington, way to fucking treat a rookie quarterback.
Maybe they're figuring
way
out,
to treat it,
and maybe Washington's trying to figure out who they are. You know, that's the other thing. We're not like Washington had no identity, none. I mean, you got an old running back there, another running back who you have a lot of hope for, but he's always been hurt.
Right.
You know, and he showed some glimmer of hope the past week, but you know, like they Alex Smith getting hurt, and then they never were able to recoup from that.
No. Colt McCoy, not the answer.
No.
Has he ever been? He wasn't even the answer when he was at Texas.
Oh,
when he was in college. So.
But you want to move on to start our picks here?
Did Caleb do his read?
What are you trying to blow me into the fucking principal's office?
I don't know, you got me. You threw me under the bus. Fucking skate away with yours.
Well, I wouldn't skate. I'll drive.
Where are you going to drive to?
Right down to the showroom at 5865 Tabor Road in Rome and see why all of their customers love their Nye VWs. Mention the Disruption Network and receive
$250 off.
Any purchase. Check out their inventory at nyvwofrome.com.
Thanks, Caleb.
Not bad.
You're right on the ball with that.
Fucking John over there, like we're about to go to detention together. Well, he didn't do his homework either.
He did it first.
Yeah, he didn't do his
We have
homework.
to switch it up on you and like make him do EJA.
Oh, man, I don't know about that. Then the show would go down in flames as if it already hasn't.
He's going to bring the G back in EJA.
So we should probably talk about who the leaders were from this past week.
Oh, I'm sure you would love to.
Yeah, like let's.
Oh, last week's record recap?
Yeah.
Last week's
Chicken caught up 4 games on me. He is no longer 18 games down. He is only 14.
moving on up. I can still make it.
Yeah, you could. Chicken won the week with 10-6. Caleb went 8-8, and I went 6-10.
First losing week of the year for John, huh? Oh, no, second. Yep. Sorry.
Stu, I believe, went 8 Crap, they're over there. Hang on.
If he had 8 wins, he would have gone 8-8, John. But he didn't, and he's looking. Oh, he's got it. Here we are.
Should have had my notes. All right, Greg went 5-8. Yuck.
5-8. He didn't even pick 3 of the games.
Well, no, because it was Friday.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I'm an idiot.
Let's see. Stu went 6.
I just want to know, seriously, are you both fucking retarded?
Yes.
Stu actually did the best out of our guests. He went 6-7, and Zach also went 5-8. So,
Did Zach actually write anything on the piece of paper? He's so fucked up.
It's on front and back, and deciphering it was a treasure.
You call him a couple times. Now, what were you thinking when you did this? Were you actually here? Oh, no, you were. Oh, okay, great. Good. Well, this week, gentlemen, big start to the week for you boys.
This is actually a really big game right now. The Cowboys and Bears, both teams on different spectrums. Bears winning 2 straight, Cowboys losing 2 straight, both 6-6. But weirdly, the Cowboys are leading the division and in the playoffs.
Playoffs on the line.
And the Bears are on the outside looking in.
Right.
And this is why I have a huge problem with the way they do the playoffs. I just wish it went from best records down. You know what I mean? The best records in the NFC, best records in the AFC. Fuck the divisional winners.
So then just make it conference. That's it.
That's what I'm saying.
But
it's more fair that way because you got a team like the Vikings who are what?
I'm not arguing with you, but
what are the Vikings 8-3 now?
Then who would you play? Are you saying get rid of the divisional? How you play a team twice a year in your division, right?
No, you still do the divisional, but like if you're a divisional winner and you're on the top of the list, like if you're the Seattle Seahawks or the New Orleans Saints, and you win your division and you're like the top of the league, then you get the home field advantage.
I mean, let's break it down. What's harder to do? Beating a team that you face once every 4 years, AFC versus NFC, or beating a team twice in 1 year? I think beating a team twice in 1 year is harder than beating a team you see once every 4 years. So that's why winning your division might carry a little weight. That's how I see it.
Unless you're the New England Patriots.
But I feel
that shit division that you just completely stomp every year because there's nobody even contends to you.
Right. So I'm with you. I think it should go by record. But if you win your division, you get in. But where you get in, your record will determine.
I'm sorry, but like a few years ago, Seattle got in 9-7.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then there was another team that would have more wins that didn't get in.
Right.
And I feel like that's horseshit. Like, screw that you're divisional winner. If there's teams that are better than you, they deserve a chance to get in. Because there's a team that will be probably about 2 or 3 wins better than the Cowboys that won't get in.
Oh yeah, no, yep.
And that's absolute bullshit.
I agree.
And especially like in the West and in the North, I mean,
especially if the Bears win tonight and they're on the outside looking in, yeah, I'm going to be kind of mad.
Yeah, I mean, that East division is god awful. So they get a playoff spot because that division's so terrible.
And a home game. Not even a fucking playoff spot, but a home playoff spot. Right now, San Fran's at number 5. They have to go somewhere in the playoffs. Ridiculous.
Right. And Minnesota might not even make it, or Green Bay, or the Rams, or
right.
It could even be the 49ers not make it.
Right.
Like if Seattle...
Oh, no, the 49ers are making it.
But if Seattle wins and 49ers drop another game...
Still not a believer.
You got... I'm just saying.
I'm kidding.
Seattle wins that division. You got potentially 2 teams coming out of the North. And then if Dallas is sucking up one of those spots, or whoever's coming out of the East is sucking up one of those spots...
That's good. It's only going to be one team. They have... None of them have a chance at wild card. They've all been eliminated.
Isn't that crazy?
It's win the division... Or no, you're not.
Isn't that crazy?
Right.
Isn't that wild? It's week 14.
So we don't have to worry about any of them sucking up another spot.
It's fucking week 14.
The third shittiest teams in both those divisions, in the West and the North. Okay, the Bears are the same record as the Cowboys. They're third in their fucking division, and they're outside looking in. And the Cowboys are first at 6-6.
The takeaway is just as simply as what John just said. Just let that sink in. It is week 14, and this was a thing 2 weeks ago. So week 12, it was a thing that the winner of the NFC East, all 4 teams that are in the NFC East, had 0 shot at a wild card spot. The only way that they would make the playoffs is to win their division.
I believe there needs to be no more said than how fucking corrupt this
Eagles got eliminated with at wild card with the Miami loss.
Yeah,
so that's when it happened.
Okay, so it's week 14. We've still got 4 weeks left, or four game weeks left of football. Like it's. That's insanity.
Washington could still win it.
That's insanity.
What's the Giants' record?
2-10.
2-10. Yeah, so they're out of it.
They could still win it though.
But then again,
because
four games that they win 6 and Cowboys lose, they got the same record. And I think like this week right here, this game, this Chicago and Dallas game, a lot of implications though. Like I really feel that this is a game that Garrett's playing for his career.
I don't know how much faith I have in the Bears offense when you can, barely muster 24 points versus Detroit. I think it was only 20 points a couple weeks ago at home. They're really bad.
Dallas got 15, and they allow 26 against the Bills team, who a lot of people say have no offense.
Right. Well, but they're clicking.
Who's clicking?
The Bills.
Oh, I think you say Cowboys.
No, they're clicking the other way.
Jesus Christ, he was about ready to jump across the table.
I was like, are you out of your mind? I was like, what have you been watching?
That's it. You're gone. You're gone. I'm doing the show by myself from now on.
Welcome to the chicken line.
Yeah.
I feel like the Cowboys are in disarray right now. I feel like the Bears, knock on wood, might be finding out who they are. They're playing a lot better. The only thing that I feel like the Cowboys have on the Bears in this game would be the run game. The Bears have been kind of suspect against the run. Zeke Elliott is one of the best running backs in the league. So I feel like that could be a problem. But if they can, swarm him, I'm okay with making Dak Prescott try beating us.
Taylor Gabriel's out again. Amukamara's out again. Brownecker's out again.
I like that Wims kid.
I'm okay with Wims.
Anthony Miller's been playing really well.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
Tyler Gabriel would be great for that over the top.
He'd be huge today. But I'm just thinking that I like
that Wims kid though. I really want to see him get more chances because he's a big wide receiver. The guy's huge.
The Cowboys have a better defense, and this is
You're
really what I'm basing it.
You're
on.
out of your mind.
No, a better defense than the Bears' offense. Not better than the Bears' defense.
I still disagree.
I don't think the Bears are going to score enough to win this game.
The Cowboys can't score.
Neither can the Bears. They're 10-3. Dallas.
The Bears have better wide receivers.
That I agree with.
The Bears have better wide receivers as a whole.
But offensive line wise,
they got a better coach. Even though I'm not a Nagy fan, but at least he tries some things.
He does try.
You know what I mean? Whereas like Garrett is just so vanilla. He's so vanilla, and they will never be a competitive team under Jason Garrett. And I almost feel like
he doesn't take chances. I get it. Yeah.
He's so vanilla, and I think that's the problem. And again, I don't necessarily put it all on Garrett. I put it on Jerry Jones. Again, like. Whenever a team loses, you talk to the coach. You don't talk to the owner. And Jerry Jones' face is in everything, just like Al Davis used to be. And they will never be a real competitive team.
Causing a rift in the locker room kind of thing, you're thinking?
Yeah, he just – I see it. And coaching-wise, he just wants a puppet. He doesn't want a guy that – like Bill Parcells used to say –
wants to put his hand up some guy.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, Parcells said it. You want me to coach – you want me to cook the dinner? Let me go out and buy the groceries.
Right.
And that's kind of what we're looking at here. It's like – Parcells was a coach that owned the team. That was his team. He did it the way he wanted. Garrett is just facilitating.
I knew Parcells was the one that said that. Somebody said the other day that Bill Belichick said it. I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure he took that from somebody.
It was Parcells.
It was Parcells. You're 100% right.
Did you guys realize the 3 best coaches of all time are all named Bill? Bill Walsh, Bill Parcells, and Bill Belichick.
Mm-hmm. They're fucking Masons. No.
God damn, what a weird world it is.
What do you think about it? Those are you think the top 3 best coaches in the world ever, those are the top 3, I would have to say.
Adam Gase. Wow. I'm going Dallas in this game, by the way, now that you two idiots are shut the fuck up about it.
And why do you say that, Caleb?
I'm not a believer in Chicago. I'm not right now. I was so high on their horse at the beginning of the season. I'm just very. I think Dak's played well enough to win the last few weeks. I think Zeke is going to have a huge game tonight. Somehow, some way, I think he's going to have a pretty good game against this front seven. Just because the exact point that we've made in the past few weeks is Mac's been non-existent. I know the Bears are banged up on the defensive side of the ball, so I think it's a recipe for them to control the tempo. I don't think John's score is going to be that far off with 10-3. Like I feel like this is good. There's going to be like no point scored.
13-6. Compared to last year, the Bears are really banged up this year. Injuries are fucking killing them. Bad old line play is killing them. I'm just not that I fucking have faith in the Cowboys. I just feel they're going to squeak this one out.
I feel like Kyle Fuller could take Amari Cooper.
He's not impressing me this year either. I don't know what the fucking problem is.
When you don't hear his name, that means he's doing good. He's been playing pretty good. I thought he's been impressing me like crazy because like when you got Nakamura on the other side, Nakamura is the one who gets burnt.
And actually, I'm glad he's not playing tonight.
If it comes down to a field goal, I'm going to take. I'll take Pinheiro though over Dallas's kicker.
What?
But then don't forget.
I guess you're right.
Dallas lost to the Jets. They lost to the Jets.
I know.
Yeah, but. Chicken, that I like, and I don't mean to come to the defense of this.
Barely by the Jets.
I know, but I don't mean to come to the defense of this argument here or anything. But like the Jets,
the Cowboys are also on a 2-game losing streak.
Until last week's performance by the Jets, 6 points, they had put up 3 consecutive weeks with their starting quarterback. That started when their starting quarterback came back. Okay, they put up 3 consecutive weeks of 34 points. It's not like the Jets have been, besides when Sam was hurt, overly pedestrian. They've been pretty good when he's been on the field. So it's a team that, you
They
could
still
take
got no
it.
defense.
The Jets.
Yeah.
The Jets have a decent defense.
Their secondary blows.
No, they don't. They're the two top safeties in the league, Marcus May and.
You've been crying all season long.
Yeah, their cornerbacks are terrible. The cornerbacks are terrible. The safeties aren't bad. But Chicken, you can't. I don't think you can take out so much aggression on Dallas for a loss to the Jets earlier this season. Yeah, it was backbreaking for them, but at the same time, I mean, the Jets have put up points, so I mean, I don't think it's really. It doesn't make them a bad team. If we look at some of Dallas's maybe other losses, maybe that would make them a worse team. But a loss to the Jets, a Jets team has been playing pretty well.
Actually, the Bears are on a 3-game win streak, aren't they?
I'm not sure. That's your team.
I believe the Bears are on a 3-game win streak. I just see Dallas spiraling down. I see both teams. Bears are starting to get a little something going, and Dallas is just crumbling apart. And like I just feel like with all this talk about Jason Garrett,
yeah,
it behooves the
tough,
Cowboys to lose this game. It really does. And I feel like that's why I feel like Cowboys right now are just spiraling downhill. I don't think the Bears have a chance of making the playoffs, not with the Vikings playing the way they are in Green Bay. But I do feel like the Bears.
Disappointment, though, man. Disappointment. I mean, this was a Bears team that the second most bet person preseason to be the NFL MVP was Mitchell Trubisky.
And that's when I knew they were going to fucking be terrible. But and I feel like they went through some growing pains.
Yeah.
But when I look at the two teams, I don't have a lot of faith in the Bears offense. I don't, but I feel like the Bears defense will score.
Yeah.
They have a chance to score. And if you shut Ezekiel Elliott down, Dak doesn't scare me. Not against our defense. Dak doesn't scare me.
Well, we're all going to be watching this game tonight, so we'll find out.
Yeah.
I'm going
You're
Bears.
going with us?
Yeah, I'll go down. Sure. I'm going.
We're going to head
Cowboys.
down to the Varick tonight to watch this game. Get some
I'm going Chicago.
All right.
Boys are both. Are you going
I'm
Chicago there,
because
Silver?
I'm a real fan.
Hey, either way, see, I'm looking at it logistically. Either way, I win.
No, you don't.
Not this fucking shit again.
No, you don't.
Not this
No, you
fucking
don't.
shit again.
Because I get another game on you. So you guys are going to lose this week. Bills and Ravens
in Buffalo.
I don't think it matters. I mean, if you're in Baltimore or Buffalo, I mean, they both get pretty shitty weather. But Buffalo fans are going to be hyped for this game.
Yeah, they're going to be. They're definitely going to be part of it.
Oh man,
I'm going Ravens. I want the Bills to win.
Yeah,
I think the Bills' front line can disrupt things. I just don't think they have the offense to counteract.
They've got the linebackers. As long as they don't bite, like San Fran's did. Don't play overly aggressive. Play a little loose. That's my recommendation for them. Keep your eyes open. Edmonds can do it.
I'll circle the wagon this weekend. Buffalo.
But I'm going Baltimore.
I'm going Buffalo in Buffalo this weekend.
I'm rooting for Buffalo for sure.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
I do think that I'm not sure what the weather report holds for Buffalo on Sunday, but seeing the way that Lamar Jackson had pretty good success last week, and
so put the Patriots back in
weather.
first. Is that what you're hoping for?
The Patriots are in first, aren't they? Or are you talking about overall? Overall, yeah. I just there's something about the Buffalo Bills this weekend that I like against Baltimore. I mean, I have really.
I hope you're right.
Yeah.
No justification besides just wanting to see it happen, but I think Buffalo could hang with this team. I think they need to have the perfect offensive game plan, though. One of the bigger problems that you could arise for the Bills, and granted there has been a heavy regime switch since he was there, is Greg Roman as the offensive coordinator for the Ravens. He was the offensive coordinator in Buffalo for a while, for a decent chunk of time before Brian Dable. So it could be an interesting thing to watch there. So, but I'm still going to go with the Buffalo Bills this weekend, and they better hope that they can hold the Ravens to less than 20 points, because if they don't, they do not win.
Right.
So
I agree.
2 Ravens, 1 Bills.
Yes.
That's a tough one. I really want the Bills to win that game, but man, Ravens are tough.
Yeah.
Green Bay Packers versus Washington Redskins. And, normally I'm like, okay, Green Bay, but God, we don't know anything anymore. After really Redskins beat up on Carolina.
I think Washington's a little run here is going to be over in Green Bay.
Yeah, it's in Green Bay.
Yeah.
Packers really beat up on really bad teams.
Yeah, they played well last week against the Giants. Mm-hmm. The Packers did, and again, if you go back and look at the box scores from
that game. Just look at some of the wide receiver names that Green Bay started last week. Good, more of the fucking scrapbook guys that you don't know anything about. So it's they're Green Bay. Green Bay is just doing Green Bay things as usual. So I'm going Green Bay. Yeah. I would even with what John said about really beating up last week on shitty opponents, I would stay far away from these points. That's one.
Really?
One.
Oh, you think it's
I would stay away from the 13.
Kind of a trap points game wise?
Yeah, I think it could be. Just because, I mean, you put it perfectly earlier, and I didn't realize that with what Washington did with the 2 running back system. They're keeping both those guys fresh. So 13 points is
nice.
13 points is more of a line that you get from a shootout, like a 45, 42
if
type
they
game.
can do that, if they can keep
Rodgers off the fucking field, they might stand a chance.
Yeah.
But Rodgers doesn't need a long, drawn-out drive. He needs 3 fucking plays.
Yeah.
Score. Yeah. From the hip.
Yeah. I'm going Green Bay.
So you're going Washington?
No.
Oh. Damn it. So next game is Houston, Texans, Denver Broncos. They got Texans 9.5. I am not going to take the points on that just because Denver has played everybody really, really tight.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Houston's going to win this game. Houston's going to win this game. And I think it's going to be closer than we think.
Did you guys see the pathetic high five that Drew Lock gave his coach after they won?
Yeah.
After the pass interference call? So you saw the pass interference call, right, Chicken?
Yep.
Okay. He comes off the field and he gives him this running high five. But the coach, but he was running and he jumped and he was higher than the coach and the coach had his hand here. So he runs, jumps, and I think he was expecting the high five, and he has to give him one of these out of right nipple level to the coach. It was so pathetic looking.
No, without that pass interference, they don't have that field goal attempt at the end. I mean, it was
an interesting takeaway from that point too is when we were watching the game. The announcers are calling their game, and probably the play actually really was probably to just sit on the ball there. Yeah. And not throw the ball. But again, you're talking about, as you said earlier, Chicken, you're talking about a team that they have really nothing to lose. You touched on it last week, too, when we were talking about the Broncos. It's been an unfortunate year, and how many 3-point losses they probably have. Ray Nation will probably let us know.
And Chargers are the same thing.
Yeah, but he went out there and they lined up in shotgun, and I was like, Jesus Christ, you're actually going to, I thought the announcer was kind of right. You do kind of just need it there.
He was it's just a throwaway play, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, you throw the pick, a 20-yard pick, and maybe potentially they could go for a big boot, especially, and the other thing is, too, you're in Denver. You have to think about that too. Mm-hmm. So Bagley could come out and have kick one from 60 yards probably and make it.
Right.
But they go out there and they went deep, and hell, I think you're going to see more teams taking a play out of their book there. Why not go get that pass interference call with the way the NFL is?
Would
nowadays?
You guys expect anything less from either one of those teams?
No, not a goddamn thing.
Last second play to lose, you're like,
yeah,
bitch.
It's what that game was is who wanted to lose it more.
Yeah.
All right, that's what it was. Because in this poor guy Phillip Rivers cannot. If you just go and look at the stats of this guy at the end of games in his career, he's fucking awful. I feel so bad for him. They can't get over the fucking hump. So
show us your Tyrod.
Yeah. Oh boy.
I wouldn't mind seeing Tyrod come in the last few games. We're out of it.
I'm going Houston over Denver.
Yeah, definitely going Houston. This is a great game. We were just talking about these two teams, Saints and the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be in New Orleans. I think this is going to be a track meet, tell you the truth. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game.
Mm-hmm. Tough thing to remember about San Francisco. Tough road they've had here. So you had to go to Baltimore, play in the shitty weather in Baltimore, and now
cross country.
Probably didn't go home. Probably went to New Orleans and worked out at a facility in New Orleans or something like that for the week. It just probably didn't make sense to go home.
I don't know the answer to that, but
usually when you play on Sunday to Sunday, you won't go home for the week. You'll stay out on the road, but that's not easy. Right. You're not in the friendly confines of your home practice facility. So
I'm going New Orleans in this game because of the Drew Brees, Sean Payton connection, and I feel like that veteran leadership. Being at home, I just feel like they got a little more upstairs than the 49ers. I think the 49ers are bigger and stronger, but I feel like the New Orleans Saints are a little smarter and savvier.
I think your take on this is scraping, just like any of us will. You're scraping for something to separate these teams because it's that tough. Fucking hard.
Yeah. I like
Drew Brees.
It's like what the fuck.
I'm picking New Orleans because of Drew Brees. No, I like. I
wouldn't blame you.
This is what kills me because New Orleans defense is no slouch.
No.
San Fran's defense is awesome. When I'm comparing the two, I really like San Fran's D-line over New Orleans' O-line. much better than vice versa.
Yeah.
That is the changer for me. So with that, I'm going to pick San Fran.
That is a heck of a matchup that I didn't really consider. That I John, we've talked about it week in and week out about the 49ers and that defensive line, and it's forgotten about.
Yeah, no,
I don't forget about it until you. I always forget about it until you bring it up again on the show. But you're so fucking right.
It's a huge part, and now, granted, the San Francisco line you don't hear much about. They give Garoppolo okay time, but they give him better time than New Orleans O line gives Breeze time. That's the difference to me. New Orleans needs to blitz to get pressure.
Yeah.
San Fran does not.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm picking the 49ers.
But then there's that guy.
No, you're
Alvin
right.
Kamara.
You're right. Now you're breaking down fucking Alvin Kamara, better running back.
He found his little tweak. You found yours.
and better quarterback. I can't argue with you, Chicken. This game could fucking go either
49ers
way.
got a great run game too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with San Fran. I circled it initially. And again, it's a coin toss. Michael Thomas is always a great
Another
hidden
guy
weapon.
we haven't even.
This is a great hidden weapon out there. And two, this is it was kind of something that stems from a fantasy football
But now is Sherman going to play on him?
He probably will.
So
they probably will rotate. Actually, they've been known to rotate the top wide receivers. But interesting point about Michael Thomas. Me and my buddy were talking about fantasy wise and fantasy implications of players this season. If you think about those top guys, those guys that were keepers in your fantasy leagues, like the premium, your Zekes, OBJs, Michael Thomas, all these big name guys. Michael Thomas has really been the only one that's really produced this year.
And
everybody else has kind of been stagnant.
And I always feel like he's like the Mike Evans of the NFL. Like he's a stud. This guy's a stud.
But Mike Evans is in the NFL.
But I'm sorry, but Mike Evans is a stud too. But you never hear Mike Evans really mentioned when you talk about the top, wide receivers.
Sure.
You're just starting to hear Michael Thomas being talked about.
He's like the Tom Brady of the NFL.
He's like one of the best wide receivers, but he's never talked about. He's always overlooked.
Yeah.
I feel like that way with DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
DeAndre Hopkins is just getting mentioned in that category now.
Well, I think they're the top two in the NFL.
Consistently. Like you said, they're consistently always good.
If you would have said the Jeff Gordon of the NFL, I might have bought that. But
you're still back over there.
I make one little slip. He's like, "Oh my god, I got stuck on it."
Let me fuck him for this one all night.
But then he's picking the Cowboys over the Bears.
Yeah, I am too. I'm going to go San Francisco. So you're going San Francisco.
I feel like you guys are tanking this week. Like you guys let me win.
I tanked last week, man. Bad.
You guys let me win this week.
Oh, he's talking about tanking again.
He's
tagging back up on his tanking reference.
Last week, he fucking purposely, he's like, all right, I got to fucking pick opposite you guys, and he got all cocky now.
Yeah,
that's how I learned to win is pick the opposite. So you guys are going both San Fran on this?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm really going to catch up to you guys. Cleveland Browns and Cincinnati Bengals.
All right, you really want a fucking fire one on this? Cleveland. No. And you know what? I don't like the 8 points. I do not like the 8 points.
I'm going to Cleveland too, but man, like if with the injury problems in Cleveland, Baker Mayfield not playing,
I know.
Dalton's not looking too bad. Andy Dalton threaded the needle on that pass to Tyler Boyd against my Jets.
Mixon is looking good.
Yeah, but that Browns got a good defense.
Yeah,
they got a good defense, and they got some running backs.
Yeah, you're right. I'm going to go Cleveland.
Cleveland.
Yeah.
It's in Cleveland, so it's not a nice place.
This is just definitely not. We've gotten to the point in the year. Like I remember, we've had games like where we've talked about we even talked about the Washington Green Bay game. There's not been a week yet this year where we haven't been we've always had one game where it's like, all right, everybody, Miami, okay.
This has been a really weird year. The whole year, like just when you think, they're the worst team in the NFL, and then it'll go beat. Okay, at the time, I keep going back to the Jets beating the Cowboys. But at that time, the Jets were looked at as the worst.
Miami, fucking, the Redskins beating Miami that was supposed to happen. But Miami fucking could have done that but a weird play. Like I said, I agree with you. It's a weird year, man.
Now Miami's not looking that
no,
bad. And you're like, they're kind of. And then the Jets. I'm sorry, but you cannot get a read on the Jets.
No, you can't.
Just when you think they're terrible, they come out and they'll beat somebody.
Dude, they should have stomped last weekend. You know what I'm saying?
I think we all like Cleveland here, but I just my biggest thing is the 8 points. I don't like it at all. It's a divisional game. There's no way 8 points. No way.
It's Cincy though. It is Cincy. I think Cleveland could put 8 points.
I think they've played. Dude, they lost.
Cincy hasn't lost very big this year.
Let me put this in perspective of how close Cincy's been. Perspective of how close Cincy's been hanging with teams. They lost to Seattle by 1 point. That's it. The team you just touted is the number 1 team in the NFC.
But that's
1 point.
But that's the thing about Seattle too is they're not destroying teams. Right. They're not. Like name a team that they destroyed. They really haven't destroyed teams, but they're beating everybody in front of them.
Right.
It's really weird.
So it's the old Bill Belichick method. Who cares what we win by as long as it's by more than you? I mean,
unless you're talking about the old.
Remember the old, not Bill Belichick, Bill Parcells. Every fucking big win they've got, it's only by 3 points. That's it. You know?
So we're all going Cleveland.
Yeah.
The next one here is a game that another one at Falcons.
You got a quarter?
Panthers. Yeah. I have no faith. I'm actually going Atlanta in this.
Did they play?
I'm going to get Falcon.
Right?
I'm going to get Falcon in this.
No.
I know it. Both teams. I just.
When was the last time they played? My God.
Who are you going with?
Falcons.
Really? I'm going with Carolina. I don't know. I just think maybe the coaching change will get them fired up. McCaffrey's so fucking good. But watching that team last week against Washington, which I did, I watched that game for some reason. And it's just so fucking one dimensional. It's not even funny. Like it's just everything. Every look is to McCaffrey. McCaffrey.
And I think that's where Atlanta's going to concentrate on McCaffrey. And
I was hoping,
I said too, I would love to see Will Grier get a shot too at quarterback here. You know, Kyle Allen has played well, and it's tough to take the job away from him at this point. But Will Grier is a highly touted quarterback coming out of college when he was at West Virginia. And I think he deserves maybe even a look here in the last few weeks and a little audition for Dave Taper because
he got to lose.
Yeah, because just this place,
I don't want to get fucking falconed. That's what I don't want to happen.
That organization is going to get cleaned out at the end of the year. Dave Taper's already said he's going to hire a new GM, new football operations guys, obviously a new coaching staff now. So you're auditioning for the owner at this point, so you might as well go out there and give him something to look at if you're Will Grier and Perry Fuel and giving these guys a chance. So I'm going to go Carolina.
I don't want to get falconed.
Yeah.
Either way,
you're going to get falconed.
Either way, I'm going to get falconed because these guys haven't played since last year, December. The Falcons won 24-10.
It is a divisional game.
It is a divisional game.
Dan Quinn will be the first coach fired on Black Monday. Just so you know.
You've been saying that every week.
Black Monday. No, the end of the season. The first Monday after the end of the season is always called Black Monday in the coaching circle, and he will be. I feel like they might run to the microphone before the game's over, in Week 17. So, Silberth, go.
Carolina will win because of the new head coach. Same reason as Caleb.
Yep.
I don't want to get fucking falconed. I don't.
You're going to get falconed.
I know. Every time I pick them, they fucking lose. When it's an obvious win. Obvious.
And they're playing at home.
Right. And they're on a good ride the past year. Even though they lost against the Saints, 2 wins before that. You know, it's just like, shit. That's my argument.
Shit. Good arguments, though. All right, so you're going to Carolina?
Carolina.
All right. Next game.
Wait, what'd you pick?
I picked Falcons.
Did you?
Yeah, unfortunately.
That gives me a little hope.
I'm probably going to get Falcon. Minnesota Vikings versus Detroit Lions. Vikings are at home.
I love this line.
I am going to go. I don't know. You guys go first.
Minnesota.
I'm going Minnesota.
For all the obvious reasons.
There's no the Lions don't have a fucking shot.
Better defense, great running game.
There's no chance.
Is Dalvin Cook still playing?
Who cares?
I think he got hurt.
Still could be the running back, and I'd still pick fucking Minnesota.
Actually, they called me. No.
That's funny you mentioned that. I had a workout Tuesday.
Speaking of workouts.
Okay.
Oh, my God. The Colin Kaepernick workout, it actually panned out, man.
Yeah.
One of the wide receivers is on the Redskins practice squad now.
Yeah. Jonathan Vasey or something like that.
Nice.
Yeah. Did make a pretty sick catch, by the way, in the workout. If you watch the video, he made a pretty nasty catch. Sorry.
Who's playing quarterback for the Lions?
Hang on 1 second. I believe it's Blow.
Who cares?
But Cook was limited in practice on Thursday, so he's questionable. So limited means still possible.
Both those quarterbacks. Do you know who the top receiving core, the duo in the league is right now?
No.
Marvin Jones and Galloway. They're the top producing wide receivers in the league right now.
I don't doubt it. They're always behind. They got to throw.
but you got both those quarterbacks for the Lions aren't bad, Driscoll or that Blow kid, and they both put on some pretty good numbers, and there's no tape on them. And then they got a running game now in Detroit. That kid that they got, I forgot the kid's name. The kid's a beast. He's a big boy, and he can really move the chains. I'm not really counting Detroit out. I'm not necessarily going to say they're going to win this game, but if Detroit actually pulls this out, I'm not going to be completely surprised. But I'm going to go with the Vikings. I part of me really thinks Detroit could pull this out.
Minnesota by 100.
I don't think.
Yeah.
These two teams play each other tough.
Yeah,
a lot.
you're right.
It looks like Blow's gonna start. Stafford didn't practice.
Stafford is done. I'm surprised they haven't IR'd him.
Yeah, that's really weird. Yeah, I mean, why even bother? Why bother? You know what?
Yeah.
Take it off. We got it.
Like this is the
they're
time.
in good shape though. I think if he decides to retire with those two quarterbacks they got on the house, I think they're okay.
This is the time that for teams like, if you have a guy that gets hurt and is going to be out for a week or two, you IR him just to see what else you got on a practice squad player. I'm very surprised they haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
So. All right.
So moving on, we're gonna go Jets in Miami. You never know which one you're gonna.
Can we go back to the Atlanta Carolina game?
Wow. I'm
I actually thought you were genuinely laughing.
No, I wasn't.
I'm actually gonna go with the Dolphins on this one.
What a dickhole.
Who's been winning more in the past
Jets.
4 weeks?
The Jets.
Miami's got 4-game winning streak?
No, they only have 3 wins on the year.
And they all just came in the
3 out of 4.
3 out of 4. Okay, so 3 out of 4.
Jets. The Jets won. Jets won 3 straight too.
How long ago?
2 weeks, up until last week.
How long's on third?
And they just lost to Cincinnati.
Quick dart with your eyes to the baseball reference there. I like that. You drop baseball reference immediately.
Or is he on first? I don't remember.
Jets.
I'm going Jets.
Oh, I'm gonna really beat you guys this week.
Yeah, this is gonna be a wild week if he fucking beats us.
I'm fucking pissed when Detroit wins.
Yeah. Just really hangs with you all week next week. Yeah, I'm going Jets. I hope that they get back on track. The Jets struggle. One of the biggest problems the Jets had last week, and that they've long had for the last 2 or 3 years since Mangold retired, is offensive line help. Kelvin Beachum, I don't know if you guys realize this, had 3 holding calls last week in one game for an offensive lineman. Now I know, in my kicking around football and experience that almost every play for an offensive lineman is holding,
mostly
by the letter of the law. Mm-hmm. But it's just how well you get away with it. But be better. You're a veteran.
Right.
You're a 10-year veteran of this league.
Right. You know how not to get caught.
Bro, like you've already basically laid Luke Folk and Sam Darnold out this year to slaughter. Mm-hmm. Trevor Siemian broke his leg, all right, because of the shitty offensive line.
You're not selling me on the Jets right now.
I know, but I'm just saying this is, and also too, John, I'm going to tell you this fact too, and this goes back to what we talked about earlier. And the problem the Jets had earlier this year is they were so predictable with Le'Veon Bell. Got away from that, kind of reinvented himself for a few games. Then last week, what do we go back to? 10 for 32. 10 attempts for 32 yards.
That's all he got is 10 attempts?
10 attempts for 32 yards.
That's all he's got is 10 attempts?
Last year. Or last game.
Yeah, he should have had at least 20.
That's what I'm saying. 10 attempts for 32 yards. No wonder you scored 6 points against Cincinnati. You're not being creative with him. I think, and I'll be honest with you too, I think Lev Bell be gone. I think he'll be gone in New York next year too.
Why is this the first time they're playing this year? Seriously, we're in fucking December. Jets and Dolphins. So that means they're playing within the next 4 weeks. They're playing again. I mean, the same thing with fucking Eagles and the Giants.
Yeah.
That's gross. They should play within the first month. And I agree with the last month of having divisional games. Fine, great. But not fucking twice.
Yeah.
This is bad scheduling. Bad NFL.
Well, the Bears had to play Detroit no matter what, 2-3 weeks?
Yes, no.
And that's a crime too. That's bullshit.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree. It's not that difficult.
Falcons Saints, same thing. They played twice in 3 weeks.
Also, too, like I just said too, look at the travel patterns of some of these teams too. Very different, very weird. So weird scheduling by the NFL this year. But Jets,
I also think the Miami wants to take it to Adam Gase. I think that's going to fire him up a little.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a decent point there.
I circle Jets, but I may cross it out and put
Don't be a
Miami.
puss.
But I'm going to keep Jets right now. I've got another 18 minutes.
I didn't take my finger off. So, okay, we're moving on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus Indianapolis Colts. I think this is a no-brainer. We're all going Colts, pretty much, right?
No, I'm going Tampa Bay.
Ty Hilton's out.
It don't matter. You're going
Indy's done. Indy's
They've got no dude. Special teams is horrendous.
Tampa Bay.
Indy has
Buccaneers.
crumbled. Indy is crumbling
Their
quick
defense.
for me.
I'm on the fence. I was about to circle Tampa Bay because I've lost all faith in Indy.
Indy's
really
got a better
have.
defense. They got a better O-line.
28. I mean,
Jacoby Brissett, I would take him.
and he's not played very well.
You know what? It's 3
even at
points.
his worst, he's
Hang on.
played better than Jameis Winston.
It's 3 points. That means it was a pick 'em. They gave him 3. What is
Even at his worst, he's better than Jameis Winston.
What did it
I'm sorry, but
start
it's
at?
true.
I disagree.
No. Brissett's a way better QB than fucking.
I disagree.
Winston.
Brissett, like maybe numbers wise, he might throw more yards, but Brissett will lead the team to a win, and Jameis hasn't been able to do that.
This line was only at -1 Tampa Bay. That tells me Indy.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm picking Indy.
for a quarterback that can't move the offense and can't play offense over his last 5-6 weeks. 55 against the Rams, 55-40 win against the Rams, a 31-24 loss against the Saints, a 37-26 loss to Carolina, 23 points against the Titans in a loss, 34 against the Seahawks in a loss. So what the story I'm getting here is shitty defense.
Loss.
Chicken. He's won 3 out of his last 4 games.
Yeah,
I don't know how you can say
fair.
like
if you ask me, I'm going Indy all day over Tampa Bay because Tampa Bay hasn't shown me dick in the past 5 years.
What are you looking for out of them?
Wins.
Winston.
He's garbage. He's absolutely garbage.
I mean, Jacoby Brissett's been garbage this year too. He has.
Obviously have
he
not.
hasn't been that good.
You obviously have not watched
This
Indianapolis
past
play.
week, Travis Henry was on fire. Other than the fumble in the beginning,
Jacoby Brissett's been pulling shit out of his ass.
I would disagree.
You haven't watched him.
He's crumbled in the fourth quarter the past couple of weeks, and it's really weird how that's panning out. He plays a great game, and then when they need him the most, he's crumbling.
You guys are going to get bucked.
No, I'm picking Indianapolis.
You're getting bucked in the ass.
I'm picking Indianapolis. But
Tampa
I
Bay
see
wins.
where Caleb's coming from, though.
I don't. I will not bet on Tampa Bay ever again. Right along, like me picking the Atlanta Falcons, I would pick them before I pick Tampa Bay.
Oh, wow.
Tampa Bay
That's how
has
serious he
shit
is.
the bed every freaking time. They are god awful.
35-22 win over Atlanta, 28-11 win. 20. I don't care. What are they not supposed to fucking beat the other team? He's putting up points.
Falcons.
This guy's producing. Jameis Winston's fucking producing.
How many interceptions has he got?
Bro, I don't care.
I do. That's probably why he's losing.
I fucking hope that he has more interceptions than Jacoby Brissett, or less interceptions than Jacoby Brissett. And I'm gonna fucking shit right on your little computer.
Wow.
He's got 20.
Guess who's sucking?
He's got 20. He's got 20 picks.
Winston's
He's got 20 picks.
There's no way Brissett has 20 picks.
Well, let's look. Let's just see where he is.
Brissett would.
I'm sure he doesn't. You're probably right, but
I'd be 10, half of that.
So okay, so you get you're going Indy. He's going Bucks.
Yes.
So he's going to get bucked in the ass. And then we're going to go on to
Brissett's thrown for 800 less yards, 4 less touchdowns, and he's only thrown 6 picks.
Oh, wow.
Oh, there you go.
Playing a lot safer game, but they got a good running game.
6 versus 20. That's a game changer. That changes a lot.
1 win.
14 extra picks.
1 win.
I'm just saying.
1 win difference.
I'm just saying you're not going to get that opportunity against a team like Indianapolis because the coach isn't going to let it.
These games are really fucking sucky.
Tampa Bay wins this game.
You're on drugs.
Easily.
Whatever you're on, let me have some after the show.
All right, so the Chargers are traveling to Jacksonville. This is tough.
Chargers.
Minshew is starting for the Jaguars. So
Chargers.
By default, I'm going Chargers.
I don't think Minshew Mania is going to make a comeback.
Just because you can still rattle Minshew.
I'm going to go Jacksonville because of Leonard Fournette. I think
I did that last week. Yes, I made that same mistake.
And I just like the Chargers. They're not as bad as a record, but they always find a way to lose.
You're right. They're not finding for just based on that fact. You've got me hooked. But I just think that they're more of an all around team. The Chargers are,
and I'll give you that. And they beat the snots out of Green Bay.
The fact that they're going to an away game favored. Let me see what it opened at. Chargers -1. Okay, still favored.
Caleb, you going Chargers?
Yeah.
Still, you're sticking with Chargers?
Chargers, yes, please.
Excuse me. And then Patriots.
Is that even a burp?
Yeah.
What the hell was that?
Patriots cat fart.
Patriots versus the Chiefs. Patriots are at home. This is a good game. This is a really good game.
Chiefs.
Did you guys see Bill Belichick's son's interview today?
No.
If you get a chance, you got to watch it. They sound exactly the same. Belichick's son is the safeties coach in New England. I guess he must have gotten into it with somebody, or like they had something that the media tried to make a bigger deal. But the Belichick's always squash that type of shit.
Right.
And he came on today. They sound exactly the same. The way they talk is exactly the same. If you covered up this interview and I put this interview in front of you, you would think it was Bill talking.
No shit.
Is
the way they talk to the media is the same.
Is Tariq Hill playing in this game? Is he back?
Where's my injury tab?
Because he definitely makes a big difference in this game.
Yeah, definitely.
He is not on the injury report.
All right, that's a big.
He was fully healthy last week, I believe.
This game's tough.
I'm going KC.
Yeah, I'm going KC too for the same reason I went Houston.
That defense seems to have tough times with mobile QBs.
Well, and they like to play man to man. That's what Bill Belichick plays man to man. And when
your backs are to the QB when that happens.
And you got those speedy wide receivers, and those speedy there are some between Hill and what's that other kid's name? He's like second or third. Robinson, I think his name is. Dude could take the doors off. And then you got this other guy, that Travis Kelce guy.
I was just going to say Kelce's
pretty good.
He's okay.
Yeah.
He's all right.
I've heard of him.
Sammy Watkins isn't the worst player I've ever seen either.
Yeah.
No, is LaShawn McCoy playing?
He's not on the injury report.
I mean, Damian Williams is probably
Damian Williams
is questionable.
But LaShawn McCoy, I like.
Didn't practice Thursday.
I like LaShawn McCoy in the passing game.
Yeah.
In the screen plays and stuff like that. I just think there's so many weapons in his Chiefs team, and the defense has been playing pretty well. The defense has definitely gotten better as the season went on. And then you got, that Mahomes guy is pretty hard.
Mahomes is the difference maker to me. I mean, really, again, mobile QB. That's why I'm picking the Chiefs.
That Tom Brady guy's okay too.
No, he's not this year. He's got a worse passing average than fucking Trubisky.
He's definitely going to have to put up some numbers to beat this team. Andy Reid versus Belichick. Belichick probably gets a nod. They'll definitely get the nod on that one.
You think?
Yeah. Andy Reid's good. But he's never been known to win the big one. He's like
That's why I'm like, I consider this a big game.
He's like Marty Schottenheimer.
Right, yeah.
Marty. I'm going with New England.
I knew you were going to do that. I'm going Chiefs in this
Chiefs
game.
as well.
It's a coin toss for me,
not
guys.
confidently, yes. But
yeah, I'm just...
happy this isn't one of the night games that we got to choose from.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no problem. 3 and out. So yeah. So
Arizona versus the Steelers.
Pittsburgh really impressing me. Mike Tomlin's got them guys focused and winning.
Saved his job, I think.
Yes. Yep. He could have just tanked it after Roethlisberger.
Week 1.
Yeah, Roethlisberger went down, and they've mustered up. They're still in the playoff hunt.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Arizona in this game.
You're
too.
retarded.
I am too.
No,
I'm going Arizona in this game.
I'm going
as well.
Pittsburgh.
Arizona looked like shit last week, but you know what? It's
Steelers got a defense still.
Yeah. This is a Super Bowl rematch, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
From probably 10 years ago,
I was
maybe
down there.
or so.
Actually, I was down there in Tampa when this game, the Super Bowl, happened, and there was no Arizona fans. There was like 2.
Just crickets.
Yeah, I remember me and Patterson.
You and that other guy.
Yeah, me and Patterson went down.
Patterson.
We went down to the
the other guy.
NFL. Cool story though. We went to an NFL experience the day before, and I'm sitting there, and I'm sitting there. These 2 guys are like, "Oh, you see that?" And I see this guy being escorted out by security. I'm like, "What? Did he steal something?" They're like, "No, that was Aaron Rodgers." Walked right past us, but that was Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, right.
Party was that playoff game against Arizona.
Right.
Because Aaron Rodgers was still like unproven, and then he went toe to toe with Kurt Warner.
Right.
And that was a great game. But Arizona's going to win this game. I think the Steelers.
Wait, you meant Ben Roethlisberger, right?
Huh?
You said Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers was at the NFL Experience.
Oh, okay. I thought you said he was in the game.
No, he was in the NFL.
Yeah, he was totally in the game.
That's where they do that.
Did I miss something?
Punt, passing kick, or whatever.
Punt, passing kick.
You know, the competition.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing then? Dick.
I forgot that the pump pass kick contest was a thing. That's why.
I was like, what the hell? It's true. So where are you guys going?
for
You going Steelers?
Arizona.
Will you stop playing with your junk in front of me?
Wow, he's getting turned on.
I am going Steelers, please.
You're going Steelers?
Yeah.
All right. Sill's going to
I'm buying in.
All right, so then we got the Raiders versus Tennessee.
Tennessee, please. I'm finally
Tennessee going into Oakland. I'll take it too.
I am finally a Tannehill fan.
Yeah, I'm going to take Tennessee.
Well, that and Travis Henry's
beyond
beast.
beyond disappointed with the performance by the Raiders the last few weeks. 9 last week, three the week before.
Both got great running games.
After playing really like Oakland played really well for like 3 or 4 straight weeks, and then they just laid the egg. They scored 3.
They need to get back to the running game. That's the problem, Chicken. They've gone away from it.
Both of them got like stud running backs.
But Oakland's defense is porous.
They also in that Kansas City game after the first 2 drives just were deflated. I mean they
it was 14-0 before they knew it.
Yeah, they walked. Kansas City walked the field, and then they fumbled
23-0 at half.
Yeah,
they fumbled. Yeah,
and they fumbled the kickoff on the after the first touchdown, and that was like you could just tell it was like nope, there go the sails. They've flown away. So I'm gonna go Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm going Tennessee. Mm-hmm. The Derrick Henry effect.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy's a low.
He's the statistically over the last 16 games he is, and this dates back to last year, which is tough to count in, but he's statistically the number 1 running back in football.
Believe it.
Yeah. So.
Hey, so.
Yeah.
Are you tired of living in pain?
Big time.
Your medication doesn't seem to be working, or it leaves you in a fog. Try a natural, safer alternative with CBD from Utica Hemp. With everything from oil, full spectrum, and THC-free, topical CBD flower, and dog treats, Utica Hemp has something for everyone. Visit uticahempco.com or stop into one of their 4 locations, Utica, Herkimer, New Hartford, and Clinton, and speak to one of the knowledgeable staff in how CBD can help you. Utica Hemp, improve the quality of your life.
Sweet.
Another
big game here. Seahawks going to Los Angeles, right?
I don't see how this is a pick.
I don't either. I'm kind of weirded out by this, and it might be because Todd Gurley all of a sudden.
Divisional game, I think the output, the only reason that I could try to justify it, the pick to you is the 3 points, so the three home points, then the output last week from the Rams, and it being a divisional game.
Seahawks only won by 1 in Seattle last time they played.
I would disagree on the pick 2 on this game. That being said, I'm trying to buy in on where the Rams have gone the last few weeks in the excitement, and Sean McVay is a very smart guy and seems to maybe be righting the ship a little bit. I'm going to say the Rams pull off a huge win for them. Kind of in a must-win for the Rams.
While the Rams have found their running game, I believe the Seahawks have done the same exact damn thing.
And they got it with 2 backs now.
So I'm going Seattle.
I am going Seattle as well. I'm picking Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
The Rams have been too wishy-washy.
Correct.
Seattle's been, even though things have been close, they've been finding ways to win. Pete Carroll's got that team believing again. And the Rams really, they got nothing to play for. I mean, between the 49ers and the Seahawks, I know they're logistically
they're in the hunt.
They're logistically in it, but I don't see them making waves.
And then here, we'll toss you softball. You go first on this last one.
The Eagles and the Giants?
The comeback game. Yeah.
Eli
Eagles.
is back.
Yeah, I'm going Eagles then. If Daniel Jones is in here, I'd say I'd give him a chance against the Eagles.
Daniel Jones was here, I'd still pick the Eagles.
Yeah.
The Eagles haven't shown me much either, though.
Daniel Jones came on the show, I'd still go with the Eagles.
But the Eagles just lose.
So what do you think, Daniel? That's great. I'm picking the Eagles.
Well, John. No, I'm gonna go Eagles.
I mean, they did just lose in Miami. Ooh.
Yeah.
But
a Miami team you really like, Chicken, over the last few weeks. Remember, they're getting better.
But I feel like with the Giants, with Eli back there, they're just going to pin their ears back and go after Eli. And they got no O-line.
Immobile is the word we're all looking for.
Barkley hasn't been Barkley as of late.
No, he hasn't. That's probably the Giants' biggest problem is he is not. He's dropping passes. He's not breaking tackles. He is not the Barkley we all know and loathe.
He's terrible.
Right. He's not. I don't know what, and he knows it too. He comes off the sideline, he's all pissed and blah, blah, blah. But I don't know what it is. The O-line's not any worse than last year. So
I think it is.
No, I think they were way worse last year. I mean, they're a little bit better this year, but not by much.
I think they're your perception of them being way worse last year is because you had Eli back there who can't move.
Right.
Whereas this Daniel Jones,
you know what? Maybe right. Okay.
He can get away a little, and this dude's been running his ass off, and that's why I like Jones. I feel like they got, I guess, mobility.
So maybe the lack of Barkley this year is because the O-line is.
Well, he's been hurt. Barkley's been hurt.
Feelings?
Yeah, he got his feelings hurt.
Okay.
He's on the Giants still.
Right. I walked right into that. Oh my God. That's a great way to end the show.
Yeah, we got to get out of here because
we got to get down to the Varick, gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Get some wings. Get that.
Come down and see us at the Varick. Do you have the address there? We could pop the address online here. What's the address? The Varick.
Well,
just go to the Varick.
On Varick Street.
It's on Varick Street, I believe.
Is that right?
Yeah.
The Varick Bar and Grill. Yes.
They got some great wings, boned in or boneless.
If you come down tonight and mention this ad, John will eat a wing out of your ass.
And you put a bone in it, too.
Oh, my God.
All right, guys, we're going to get out of here before things get way out of control. I'm going to play back. I don't know. Fuck it. Let's just get out of here.
All right.
Bye.
Sounds great. You're listening to the D-Line.
All right, listen up, everybody. This is former governor of California, Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're listening to the D-Line, only on Disruption Networks. That's the D. Do it now.
So you just bought your dream home, and now it's time to move. Let's face it, nobody likes to move. All the packing, unpacking, lifting, upstairs, downstairs, and broken everything, including your back. Let the professionals at EJA Moving Company take all the stress and pain out of your move. Competitively priced moving, relocation services, office moves, and complete packing and unpacking services. They work with everybody to make it simple and easy for you to move and relocate. Call EJA Moving Company at 315-335-0516. When it's time to relocate, have EJA Moving do all the work for you. Hit them up online, ejamoving.com.
Hey, Disruption Network. This is Mike Sacco, the general manager at Nye Volkswagen of Rome. If you don't know me by name, it's only because you have not received the best deal. There's only one reason to leave Utica, and that's to come see me in Rome and get the best deal on your next new, pre-owned, or certified VW. Mention that you heard this ad from Disruption Network and receive $250 off your next vehicle purchase. You'll know why our customers say, I love my Nye VW. Come see us at 5865 Rome Taberg Road in Rome or visit us online at nyvwofrome.com.
Want to know what's going on at the D? Hit up DisruptionNetwork.net and check out our events calendar brought to you by the Events Co. Find out about upcoming guests, special events, concerts, show schedules, community activities, and more. Get connected at DisruptionNetwork.net.